everybody.
Right, your mic's on.
Okay.
And everybody else is going on too.
Okay.
We don't do this shit for fun. This is real life.
Am I close enough?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We'll find out after we play this thing back because we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
We cannot hear you. All right, let's see.
We got to watch our delay because we're about to come on, or we should. Because you brought us in, right, Brian? What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yo.
Excited to be here.
I'm excited to do this. It's been a disaster so far.
I feel very official with this microphone, so
Do you?
I do.
That's actually the shittier one.
Well, it's still, you shouldn't have told me that. I wouldn't have known. I would not have known.
I'm joking.
Oh, yeah, wait, mine is different than all of yours.
How was the drive up?
It was good. It was fine. No traffic, so. We come to Cleveland, like, what, at least once a week, I think.
I was
some deep conversations.
I know, on the way here. We did, but, yeah, we come to Cleveland a lot, so drive isn't
I
ever
drove
too
up
bad.
from Canton this morning as well.
Oh,
And
did you?
Yeah, on 77 I hit pretty bad traffic.
Oh, really?
And then 90 was all fucked up for you, wasn't it, Brian?
Oh, no. Where do
Oh,
you
no.
live?
What'd you do? Come up like St. Clair or something? Or?
I came up 9th and then got on jump east on Euclid and then went out to 90.
Oh, gotcha. So you kind of went around. Yeah.
Oh, you're coming from the west.
I'm coming from the east.
East. But he came from the west today because of traffic.
Oh, I must have said, why the fuck you come over at on 9th? Okay.
Because that's the way I was coming in before the alert came up that there was going to be an accident.
Oh.
Because you hit 90.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You got to use Waze.
That's what I use.
Really? You guys fuck with Waze?
I
fuck
don't.
with Waze.
Man,
Oh,
I
hi,
don't.
bro.
Oh, it's the
Google
best.
Maps. Google Maps is mine.
See,
I will
there
not
we
use
go. She knows
Waze.
what
I
it
don't
is.
like it.
Google Maps
Waze
is too.
updates your route.
But just
though.
like if you're good enough at looking out, you don't have to worry about it. You just look. Look
There
ahead.
you go.
The lasers, they give me speeding tickets, reach a lot further than my eyes.
I guess so.
I mean,
For sure.
One thing. So you want to know why I prefer Google Maps over
Yeah.
all of them? It's not even because of Waze. It's because when I travel, when I go out of state, when I cross state line, it'd be like, "Welcome to whatever state." So like when I go to New York, I'll be like, "Welcome to New York." I'll be
That's
like,
the dumbest
"Fuck
excuse
yeah."
to use that.
That is literally why I fuck with Google Maps. Like, and they don't both like Apple Maps is terrible. They give
Apple
you all
Maps is
these-
They're the worst.
awful.
It's-
Do you know how many
it's
times
the
it glitches
worst.
and I'm like off into a field when I'm trying to drive down the highway? And then
Yeah.
I'm just like going the wrong direction for a long
Shows you on the
time.
side of the road.
Yeah.
Going
it's-
through houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute worst. Apple, like they take you the longest way possible, and Google Maps be like, no, just go make a right there. Apple
Yeah.
will be like, go this way, go that way, and then make a left, and then make another right, and then come back around. And if you hit McDonald's, you went too far, and then it's all the bullshit.
I like Waze because it updates with the flow of everything. So, like, if there is an accident or something, it'll say, "Hey, we can shave 7 minutes off your route."
Google Maps
Maps
does the
does
same
too.
shit.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's like an accident, if there's like a backup, it'll like color the
Yeah.
road like red to show you that's like a high traffic area.
I like the satellite imaging from Google Maps. That's one thing. That's
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Google Maps sounds better, sounds sexier than Waze.
I don't know, man.
It does. I think it does.
Kind of.
Wait.
I just wanted to talk about how I pre-recorded my voice in Waze, so it's myself giving myself the direction.
Please tell
where
me
I'm
you're
going.
joking.
I swear to God. So when it says turn left, it goes turn left, skirt, turn right, mama. And I have like all these ad libs
Please.
in there.
I don't believe that shit. I
I,
gotta hear it.
I swear to God, bro, I'll bring it up right now. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. What's up, ladies? Who are you? What the hell are you doing here?
Yes.
We're
Who are
recording a
you?
podcast. Apparently, our first ever podcast appearance. Well, mine. You've been on one before, but
Yeah, I've been on
anyways.
one before for Ohio Wedding Collective, but that was before Kate was with me. So, yeah.
So this is Nicole.
doing it
This
together.
is-
I'm Nicole. I'm the owner and principal planner at Sirpilla Soirees. Sirpilla Soirees has been around since June of 2017 is when I first started. I actually started it in Washington, D.C., and then I moved back home to Canton, Ohio in November of 2018. And then, Kate, you came along in, what?
2020.
Yeah, August,
I'm
or no,
Kate.
June 2020.
June. I reached out to you in like May, I think. So I DM'd Nicole on Instagram. That's how I got connected with Nicole.
Slid into my
We went to the same
DM.
high school, however many years apart.
Were you
So I
guys
knew-
friends or no?
No, we weren't in high
Because
school at
we're
the same time.
7 years apart.
Yeah.
8 years
Okay.
apart.
Yeah.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
Oh,
Catholic
Stanford, Canton.
school.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh shit! Wait,
Yeah.
what year did you graduate?
2010.
And then you
2017.
17. Duh. So 2010. So you were a freshman. 06. I have a friend of mine who played basketball at St. Thomas Aquinas.
Ew.
His name's Ricky Jackson.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother Michael played with him.
Really? Oh shit! I feel like I know who Michael is. But yeah, Rick Jackson is a very good friend of mine. Yeah, that's shit. I haven't heard that name St. Thomas Aquinas in years. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
He was
Anyways.
a baller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. He was nice. He was nice.
But yeah, that was our connection. And then, the whole pandemic thing kind of hit and then ruined all my internships. I went to school at Ohio State in Columbus,
The
the Ohio State University. Yep. And then, yeah, I
Ohio.
know. So yeah, I had a couple internships set up, but then pandemic world hit. And so I DM'd Nicole and I was like, hey, I'm actually moving home. Do you need any help? And she was like, yeah, sure. You can come to this styled shoot. And then I was like, okay. So I showed up and then
How'd you
hired me in
start,
August,
Nicole? How did all
so-
this come about? I mean, what made you say, oh, let's take on the stress of planning weddings? Because that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of had the cheesiest epiphany ever when I was a sophomore in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher. Definitely don't have the patience for that. And one day I was in my sorority house and the wedding planner came on TV and I watched it. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I know what I want to do. I want to be a wedding planner. And she's like, okay, sure, whatever, Nicole. And so then from there, I just, was pretty determined and put my head down and got involved in school. My first job in the wedding industry was an internship at Gervasi. And this was like 10 years ago, right when it first opened. They probably had like 2 weddings in the pavilion a month. And now, they do like 8 weddings a weekend or something crazy. Yeah, so that was my first job. And then I interned on Cape Cod one summer for a wedding planner out there, which was the best summer ever. And then when I graduated, moved to DC and I worked for a high-end floral design company. We got to do some like celebrity Baltimore Ravens players' weddings, so that was really cool. Worked for a wedding venue out there. And then I was about Kate's age, 22, and I decided I wasn't quite ready to give up every weekend of my life yet. And so I switched to the corporate side of things, and then I planned my mom's wedding in April 2017, and it went off without a hitch, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to quit my job and start my own business.
This is it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go.
And I did. And yeah, it's kind of funny because
yeah, so I guess I can't say I had the same like epiphany moment with my movie. My movie was 17 Dresses. That's the movie that inspired me to be a wedding
27
planner.
dresses.
27 dresses, sorry, 17. Did I say 17? 27 dresses. Yeah, I said the movie that started my career was, and I said the wrong name. That's fine. 27 Dresses. Yeah, that one. But yeah, so I watched the movie and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to be a wedding planner. But then I didn't actually think that anybody did that. I thought it was just a movie thing. So kind of that on the back burner for a while, and then I also helped plan my mom's wedding in 2019. Yeah, and then that same thing, I helped her plan it, and then I realized that I liked it a lot, and I liked weddings, and then 2020 came around and went from there. So, yeah,
Weddings are fun.
they're so fun.
They're a lot of fun when they actually happen. Like
Yeah.
everything leading up to them isn't so much fun, but actually going out day of, that's what I chase. Like all of
Yeah.
this other stuff, I'm not a fan of. I'm like, I just want to DJ and do just that all
Yeah.
day.
And I feel like especially too when you kind of hit that ideal client, and like this year and next year, I'd say every single one of our weddings is an ideal client, and so we are genuinely excited for each one. We're genuinely excited about the designs, and we absolutely love our couples and parents, and we have a really great, strong relationship with them. So I feel like when you kind of marry the love of what you do and then have amazing clients go with it, it's the best.
What's your ideal client? What do you look for?
I would say our ideal client has Great taste, fully trust us.
Fully trust us is a big thing. 'Cause
Yes.
if you don't trust us.
No, when you say great taste, though, elaborate on that.
I feel like
Because that's
So
all
I would say
perspective.
similar. I
Yeah.
would say
That's all.
similar
It's all
tastes
perspective.
to
Yeah.
us. So we have a pretty distinct, I feel like, style. It's all bright. It's pretty like classic and clean and timeless is a lot of what we do, like design wise for our wedding. So it's people who align with that. All weddings, like you just said, it's perspective. It's
So you're like traditional.
yeah, yeah. I think traditional while still trying to be like timeless and traditional while still
thinking outside
thinking
the box.
outside the box and like making it unique to each client, because they all have different opinions on what they want and things they want included. So
What goes? Tell me a little bit about what goes into that. So here's from a DJ standpoint. There's been some collisions with wedding planners in the past on the business side of things, right? Because we're used to, having a percentage of clients that don't use a planner. So we're like, okay, this is our routine, this is our flow. Then we hit a wedding that has a planner, and it's a completely different setup, completely different flow, and then we feel like, oh my God, we're thrown off of our game or whatever. So like,
Yeah.
what actually goes into what you're doing? And can you elaborate a little bit on like exactly what it is, that you're doing and leading up to it and day of?
Yeah, so I would say in terms of timeline for kind of the reception schedule throughout the evening, I typically recommend that our couples kind of front load the reception, which you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree with this. But I normally like all of the formalities to take place before dinner because I feel like that's when you have everyone's attention, everyone's in their seat, and it just kind of makes for a smooth, timely evening where I find when you have formalities after dinner, then, all of a sudden the father of the bride's in the bathroom. Oh, wait, grandpa's in the bathroom for 30 minutes because he's
Sure.
90 years old and he needs to hear the speech. So then all of a sudden you're like herding cattle and then things start to get behind because you're chasing people down. So personally, that's what we always recommend, but we're also pretty collaborative with really any vendor.
I would say mostly collaborative because it's always my goal to bring together like the best of everyone's worlds and what everybody wants and the way that works the best, because photographers and DJs and videographers and florists, they all have different setup times that they want and different ways that they do things. So I think my biggest goal is that everybody is happy with the day and how it's going to flow, and the couple especially, that in mind. But
One thing I like to do with formalities, I agree, I like doing them in chunks. The one thing that I don't do, I would say that I do kind of differently, is I don't have my clients dance when they walk in, just because I feel like it's not dance time, number one. Number two, everyone's like, get the food out. The reasoning behind that is after dinner, when everyone's done eating, I will have the clients dance with their parents first, get those out of the way, and then from there, I have everybody stand up, circle the dance floor. That way it gives an awesome backdrop for the photographer to have like wedding party in the background or hit this angle and have parents in the background. And then the main reason why is because from that first dance, I transition right into dance time, and I now have every single person standing on the dance floor without having to say anything. The other reason why I do that is because when everybody stands up, my assistant cues to catering, hey, you guys can hit tables. No one sees it happen, and everybody's out of the way. But I agree. I like getting stuff done as early as possible. But then you can also get into those situations where you have a 5-hour dance time and people are smoked after 2 to 3 hours. So I think the timing of actually when that music starts and when you start turning people up has to be like right on cue, because really, you start losing people's attention after like 2.5, 3 hours of dance time. But no,
Between 2 and 3 hours is kind of the sweet spot.
sweet
right?
spot for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I think. I mean,
It also depends on the client and the wedding.
Sure.
Because we have, I want to say the wedding that we did together. I mean, that was definitely more than 3 hours. But
We hit like 4 with them, with Nina and Nate.
Yeah.
Were they going the whole time?
And they were going
They were
the
going.
entire time. But again,
They had that crowd.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
crowd that was
Oh, yeah.
easy, you know.
And it was pandemic wedding. Everyone was locked up. So this was in October of 2020.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
itching to get out
So-
and run and whatnot, so it made it easy to go. But I'm on the same way. Like I'm all about getting all that shit out the way because my thing is more so about attention and energy. So like I feel like if you don't front load everything, then trying to get everybody's attention, not even just so much trying to get people back to their seats if they're like you said, if grandpa's in the bathroom, he's 90 years old. It's not even about that. It's more just about attention because especially if it's an open bar, people aren't like, let's be honest, man. People are coming to the wedding, unless you're like immediate family, people are coming to the wedding to have a good time, get drunk, and fucking dance all night. So they don't really give a shit about, you know, throwing a bouquet. Like if I'm a guy, I'm a guy, but as a guy,
Are you sure?
as a guy, like I don't give a fuck about a fucking bouquet toss. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't care about the garter. You know what I mean? So like, it's more about just making sure that everybody's attention at the in the right places at the right time.
Yeah.
But I think we did the wedding together
In Louisville. Yeah.
And one of the greatest things that I loved about that wedding was when Chaley, Bride Chaley,
Yep.
she gave me the idea. I've talked about this before on here, but she gave me the idea of the reverse
Anniversary dance.
dance.
Yeah, I told you about that when
Yeah.
I reached out about the timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
When we spoke. Yeah, you're the one.
Yes.
So, you know, I do it every wedding now.
Yep.
Since then, like literally, I tell the bride.
We always suggest that
Yeah.
over. I mean, unless someone has a very, very strong.
It is no. Even if the
Love
bride and
for the
groom, if the
anniversary
bride and groom
dance.
is like, no, we want. I'm like, no, you have no idea. This
Yeah.
shit's gonna work so beautifully.
Yeah.
And it goes so well.
I even had a band in September. They were like, all right, all the married couples, all right, all the single people. So then they even invited the single
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So then literally every single person was on the dance floor.
Right. And it literally. Oh my gosh! Ever since that day, I was like, "Holy shit, this
Yeah.
works so beautifully."
Yeah.
And
It
then,
just flows a lot better.
Oh
I
my
think,
god!
and it's,
I love it. So now, literally, I do that with ever since that wedding.
Yeah.
I've done it every single weekend.
That's awesome.
So
Tell me about like preliminary work that the two of you do. Let's say, OK and I are a client of yours. We're getting married because we probably will one day. But
A little bromance going on.
hey man, don't be putting our business on these streets.
no. My girlfriend will get jealous.
As long as you're the big spoon.
Of course I am. Definitely the big spoon. Can you tell me a little bit about, like, we walk into your office. What does that process look like? How does this all go down? What goes into it? What could we expect to go through?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when someone inquires with us, we send out a questionnaire just so that we can ensure that we're a right mutual fit because it's, a partnership.
Questionnaire.
Just to get to know more about their style, what their budget is, what venue they're looking at, what vendors they've already booked, things like that. And then
Can I jump in real quick? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this. So you basically take a potential client through an interview process prior to them becoming a client of yours.
prior to us even sending them our full investment guide, that's kind of and it also kind of weans people out because, like we said, one of our ideal clients is responsive and decisive, and when clients aren't responsive, it makes it nearly impossible for us to do our jobs correctly because we're constantly following up with them to get one thing done. So by sending out the questionnaire, if they don't want to take that 5 minutes that it takes to fill out that questionnaire, then they're not an ideal client. We might not hear from them, and that's fine.
And it's not difficult. It's literally like names, phone number, email, like ideal wedding style, like what's your date that you have in mind, things like that. It's answers. They have the answers to all of those things.
What
can
would
put
you-
not available, if you don't know. So it's not a hard question.
And they say what investment level they're looking at, so then we can pair them.
Assign.
And when you say investment level, that's like more so what's your budget, right?
Well, we ask that, and we
So what do you mean
also
by
ask
investment
what
level?
package
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
as far as what you offer. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
which obviously we would go over each of them during the consultation, but personally, I am just taking full planning and design clients. So if someone inquires and they're interested in more of like a month of package, then I would either send that to Kate or Megan, because I don't do those offerings anymore. But anyway, so we send the questionnaire, and then once they fill that out and we determine that it's a good mutual fit, then we would send them our investment guide as well as a link to schedule a consultation. Then they would come into our studio or meet with us virtually.
Studio preferred.
Yeah, studio preferred. We have a
Let me jump in real quick.
Yeah.
How many clients would you say that when you are going through the interview process, as far as interested potential clients go, how many are you accepting versus turning down where you're like, hey,
what's that
they
ratio?
aren't a fit? What does that look like? 1 out
I'd
of
say-
10, 1 out of 5?
yeah, I'd say probably,
How many we're turning down?
well,
Yeah, that where you look at and say, this isn't a fit.
I feel like most of the time when someone fills out a questionnaire, it is a good fit, but we do get a fair amount because our price range is on our questionnaire, so sometimes that kind of deters people a little bit. So, so we do get a fair amount of people that won't fill out the questionnaire, and then we don't hear from them again, which is fine. But I feel like once they fill out the questionnaire and once they come in for a consultation, then, I mean, Kate and I probably book 90% of the people that
Okay.
come into our office. And yeah, and I feel like we kind of attract our ideal client at this point, which is great because everyone that comes in, you know, we click with.
We-
and-
yeah.
They
I
already
feel like a lot
have
of
been
our-
following you on
Yeah.
Instagram and seeing what you're doing.
A lot of our clients like are already like they already know they want to book us before they reach out or before they even come into our office. They already know that they want
Right,
to work
they already
with
know
us.
your drill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think,
Okay.
like you said, Instagram is.
So what
social media's a
happens
big
then?
part.
We fill out our questionnaire. You give us our package options and all that, and then now we come into your office. What happens then?
Consultations. Consultations are my favorite. It's
Right.
when you
Kate
kind
puts
of
on
get
a
the.
stand-up comedy show. Like I'll be on because our offices are next to each other, and there will just be roars of laughter. I'm like, what the hell is going on over there? Like, she literally-
Yeah. I'm the
She's
funniest.
doing skits and like
I'm the
puppet
funniest
shows.
version of myself in consultations. I don't know how or why. I just am the funniest version of
Sounds
myself.
like me.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm also.
Yeah, I love just like connecting with people. Nicole and I are both big talkers, and we like being with people. So consultations are kind of like the best place to get to know someone and get to know their relationship. And we love, as corny as it sounds, like learning about each love story. It's like I don't know.
Sure. I do
could
the
learn.
same
I could
thing.
hear.
It's crazy.
I could hear like stories of how people met every day for the rest of my life, and I'd be perfectly content. It's my favorite thing to hear about.
What's
and
the
ask
best
about.
story you've ever heard that's stuck with
Ooh.
you? As far
Like
as like a
how
love
they
story
meet
or a
or-
proposal goes or something along those lines from
Ooh,
a
I don't
client.
know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
I feel like Stephanie and Ben's is pretty cute. I just took on a client where they were in the same friend group, and he always kind of had a crush on her,
Yeah,
and
that's
she
good.
had him in the friend zone. And then,
Damn, that's the worst.
yeah, but then they graduated, and he was very persistent, but not in a creepy way. Like he just, knew what he wanted. So she moved to Chicago. She moved to Chicago. Then he moved to Chicago. She moved to DC. He moved to DC. And then I think finally in DC was when she was like, okay, I think I really like you. And yeah, they're getting married at the Madison next July. It's going to be great, but it is
Yeah.
fun.
So
just
she,
to
so
do
he
it.
followed her.
Yeah.
But in
wherever
a
she
sweet
wanted.
way.
In a sweet way.
sweet, yeah, like romantic rom-com kind of way.
That's the best way to put it. It's such
Yeah.
a rom-com movie.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right.
I had a client came in, and I always ask them, after they explain to me how they met, I always ask, the groom, tell me how you got engaged, how the proposal go down. And this guy said his plan was they were going on vacation to Mexico, and his plan was to propose on the beach, like the first or second day. So he said that entire morning leading up to the airport, he's like, my anxiety was through the roof. I popped a couple Xanax, and like I was just super nervous, and because he had to travel with this ring and get it through customs and all this other stuff. And he said they were on the plane, and he was just so nervous. He wasn't thinking, but the flight attendant came walking down the aisle and said, can I get you anything to drink? And he said, well, how much are they if I propose? And his girlfriend looked at him, and he's like, he wanted to get it out of his system. So he said he proposed right there on the plane. They announced it. Well, anyways, They got so fucked up because everybody started buying them drinks. They said when they landed, like that was it. Like they were just in bed for the rest of the day because they got trashed on the way down there. So he said everyone was just sending drinks back the entire flight.
It's funny. I will say with every like proposal story I hear, the guys are always weird. They're always weird. Like the day before, the whole day before, the week before. It's like
Or
he was
they're,
acting
like,
really
getting a little
weird.
argument
Yeah.
because of
Because like the guys
acting
The
plan
nerves
or
and-
something.
Yeah,
Whoever,
yeah,
whoever's
man.
proposing, they have a plan. They've
That's a
obviously
big
thought
step
this out.
in a
It
man's
is.
eyes.
It's
Right.
a big deal.
Wait,
so if something
Brian.
goes wrong,
As the only married man here right now, how did you do it?
oh yeah.
So my wife and I got married. We got engaged really quickly. We met in May of 14. We got engaged last year, married in October of 14, and then we got married in June of 15, and we started our photography business in August of 15. So it was one thing after the other. Now I will say this: when I proposed, my family, I have a pretty large extended family. My family would go to down to Hilton Head Island at the end of September. It's absolutely amazing. At the end of the season, we go down to like the last week of September, first week of October, and we go down there. And my entire family would go. So my grandparents, my grandmother was the only one still with us. She would go down there. All my aunts and uncles, my siblings, cousins, just a ton of people. We'd all get together at least one time when we were down in Hilton Head. And we would go to a large family dinner. We go to a place called the Oyster Factory. It's a huge place down there. And so we get the whole group would go down there, right? So I knew this was going to happen. So I took my fiance at the time. Well, she was going to be my fiance. I took my girlfriend at the time, who turned out to be my fiance. I actually proposed to her at that large family dinner, and I proposed to her at the time. And this is just being real honest. I actually didn't have enough cash to get my now wife a really nice engagement ring, so I actually proposed to her with my grandmother's engagement ring. I asked my grandmother if I could use her ring, and she let me, and which was super emotional.
Just got goosebumps,
just a
dog. That's
powerful
dope.
Moment.
Yeah.
Like I said, I knew I wanted to marry this woman, and I'm glad I did because it was the most amazing decision I ever made. But I knew I wanted to marry her, and I didn't want to wait. And that was the perfect opportunity. I wanted to do it in front of my entire family. I didn't know if I'd have the opportunity with my grandparents, if my grandmother would be around. So I did. I proposed to her at dinner in front of the whole family and everything, which turned out to be amazing. I actually don't get really nervous when it comes to those kind of situations. So when it comes to that, I didn't really have like I knew I was excited. I was ready. I really wanted to kind of.
This man got ice in his veins.
I
I'd
was
be
pretty
sweating
confident. I was confident
bullets.
it was gonna be a
What?
yes, but it was more so I was really ready to propose. Like I knew what I wanted to do, and it was my entire family. I know them really, really well. I love them all, so it wasn't an uncomfortable situation. And I'm not a shy person. If you guys have met me and been around me, you guys talk about being talkers. I'm a talker and like a social kind of person. Those kind of things I kind of like to perform when those kind of things happen. So it was more of a show than anything else. Like to put on a show. Like I kind of like being the center of attention in those kind of moments. So it was like I don't get those kind of nerves. So that was my kind of story, and it was definitely unique. But I got to propose in front of my entire family and with my grandmother's engagement ring and stuff. And
That's
so
dope.
of course my wife and I now of course run our photography business and stuff.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
My
That's
mom and
dope.
my stepdad got engaged in Hilton Head. They at Defusky Island. Yeah, they went over to Defusky Island on a day date, and we all knew. So an example of my stepdad got really mad because we weren't supposed to go on vacation that year, and he was like, "What do you mean we're not going on vacation? Like we need to go on vacation." We're like, "Why are you so upset about this? Like we're just gonna go next year. It's not a big deal." He's like, "We're going. Like I need to go on vacation." And we're like, "Oh my god! Like okay, you're being dramatic." But yeah, so that was his whole plan. That's why he got upset. So. That's an example. But yeah, they went on a day date over on Defusky Island. It's just like a historical island near Hilton Head. And then we all knew about it. So when they were gone, we got, champagne and we got cake. And my mom had no idea the whole time.
Nice.
So
That's cute,
one
but
thing
I
to
love
add,
Hilton Head.
since you mentioned that, so my wife and I actually spent the day in Savannah.
Yeah.
We went to downtown
Yeah.
Savannah. We're in River Street.
Yes.
We kind of tied one on. That was the one way that I did kind of prep for that whole situation. I had a couple drinks on River Street.
Yeah.
And then, exactly. So then we headed out to dinner, met everybody out for dinner and stuff like that when we decided to go out. So I spent the day in River Street with her, kind of walking up and down the street,
That's
just having
awesome.
drinks and stuff. It was a good time. And then went
Came
to
back,
dinner
yeah,
and stuff
it was
that night.
Dude, I'm just thinking about it and hearing these stories. I'm getting anxiety. Sorry, I'm gonna keep on slapping the damn
Keep
bottle.
slapping the table.
Fucking hey, man, I'm getting
Don't hear
anxiety
that in your
already.
headphones?
No, I don't hear it. But
starting to
goddamn,
sweat
like
a
just
little bit,
thinking of
it's
it's like holy shit, man. Like I'm about. Anyways, how did it happen to you? How did you get proposed to?
Yeah, so my husband and I, we lived in D.C. for 2 years.
Did he follow you to DC too?
No, I followed him.
Oh shit. Okay.
know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, hey, when you want, I mean, we were already dating, so.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
little different.
Yeah, but
anyways.
you weren't friend zoned. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, no one was friend zoned. Anyway, so we lived in DC for 2 years, and at the time we were living with his parents in Annapolis, Maryland, because it was right before we moved back to Ohio. So our lease was up, and we had like 3 months between our lease ending and moving to Ohio, and so we weren't going to start another lease. So he was like, hey, let's go to DC and, walk the mall one more time. My family was in town, or my parents and my grandma were in town. Right? No, I didn't know that they were in town. Anyway, so we walked the mall, and it was pouring rain the whole day. I'm like, can we just drive to the Lincoln Memorial? Like, why
Right.
are we walking? It's literally a miserable day. We had our Labradoodle Larry with us.
Aw.
Yeah, so
Larry.
we got
Wait
to
a minute, did
the-
you say your Labradoodle Larry?
Larry.
Just wanted to confirm that his name was Larry.
Larry the Labradoodle.
He is
That's a tongue
gentleman.
twister.
He is a
Right?
gentleman.
He wears a bow tie every day.
Like
Yes, he's a gentleman.
real life.
Real life.
Yeah, it's a bow tie collar. It's Burberry. Well, it's not Burberry, but it looks
Print.
like
We're,
Burberry.
Print.
we're gonna go. We'll talk about dressing dogs in a minute, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we get to Lincoln Memorial, and the best part is Mike's dad was in the bathroom, which his parents tricked us into, like, we didn't think that they were going. And so his dad was in the bathroom, and his dad handed Mike the ring, and everyone in the bathroom thought that Mike's dad was proposing to him. And my husband's like a big jokester, so he was like, "Of course I will." Like, he just kind of played along with it.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, yeah, and then he came out and proposed to me, and we got married this past August. So,
Oh, so you guys are newlyweds still?
oh yeah,
Oh, well, congrats. August
Yeah.
what?
hardest part?
Was it August what?
Oh, August 28th.
28th.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I don't know why I said it like that.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got married at St. John's in downtown Canton. It's where multiple people in my family have gotten married previously, including my grandparents, my parents, aunts and uncles, and then the reception was in a tent at Glenmore Country Club. I always wanted a tented wedding because they're just so much fun. I mean, you could really just build everything from the ground up.
Right.
So, what so as I guess we're talking about. Well, we are talking about engaging and getting engaged. For Sirpilla Soirees, what's the ideal time frame, or how far out do you believe that a client or potential client should be planning their wedding? Because we have quick ones like Brian said, which was relatively fast. Then we have people that are 2 years ahead of the game. So, like, what is your ideal? Do you want the more time? Do you prefer the short notice? Like, what do you think?
I feel like we start most of the work with our clients within like a year and a half, depending on, it also depends on when they book us specifically, but you got to think that the time between your engagement and your actual wedding, it like depends on your budget, how much do you want to pay, that kind of thing. Because like if you spread it across 2-3 years, you can have a bigger wedding because you have more time to pay for things. But it's kind of up to, I don't know if I have a specific like ideal time frame. I would definitely say at least a year is what I like personally, but I also,
Yeah, I would say
don't
12
mind.
to 18 months is
Yeah.
probably.
that's probably our,
That's my sweet spot as well.
yeah.
Because
Because
if
it gives
they're
you enough time. It's not like too much pressure to get everything done like right away and really, really quickly.
and availability is a
Yes,
big issue,
exactly.
right?
Exactly,
So
yeah. So
the
12 to 18
Saturdays go quick.
I know,
So
Ryan, you're not available for that June wedding.
I know, I'm sorry. What about okay, so we go through a consultation with you guys, right? I'm assuming we sign a contract or something there, or some sort of agreement.
So we have a consultation, and then after that, we would send a contract and a proposal based on what package that
Right.
they
And then
wanted, yeah.
do you guys do like a 50-50 on payments? Is it all paid for up front, or how does all of that work?
So it kind of depends on the investment that they're going with, which we've kind of changed our pricing structure recently. So if they're doing month-of coordination, then it is 50% upfront, and then 50% is due a month before. Where if they're going with design or full planning, we kind of switch to a hybrid of it's percentage based, but then also our coordination fee is also in there to cover our staffing.
So it's like a month-to-month type deal, or paid in several
not-
chunks?
It's paid in several chunks, yeah, because there's just different. It's just structured differently because our big goal with changing our pricing structure is that we are, fairly compensated for the weddings that are a lot bigger budget and bigger scale than
Absolutely.
others, because with a flat fee, like one,
There's way more
it's
to
just-
do
yes,
in that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what kind
So
of.
does
the point
pricing
was.
work then like a cost per person that's in attendance, or do you have limitations to if I'm having, let's say you present me with your packages, but we're having an 800-person wedding, like, does that affect the package cost, or?
So we have a minimum for the design investment and then the full planning and design investment. So it doesn't matter what you're spending, you'll just have to spend at least that minimum. So, and our minimum's based on a $80,000 budget. So say your budget's $60,000, you'll still be investing in that minimum.
Right.
Where if you go over $80,000, then you'll be spending more than that minimum based on the percentage.
Again, just because relative to the more that you spend.
What's
the
the
more work
average
it is
cost
for-
of a wedding that you're seeing with your clients overall, everything all in, not your fees?
their total,
but
their budget? You mean?
the clients, what are they spending on a wedding?
Next year, we're probably averaging, or I'd say the range is like 70 to 200 for next year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$200,000.
We don't get into that because we're just DJs. We're like, hey, here's, our costs. And
Yeah.
I'm imagining, Brian, the same's true for you, right? Like, you're really not talking to them about, like, their overall
don't
all-in
know,
budget.
Yeah, we don't,
$200,000.
overall budgets are not something that we typically discuss. It's not, it's not relevant,
Right.
honestly. As far as what we're generally doing, it's not, we are only concerned, of course, in our specific field, what we're doing
Right.
specifically and what they're allocating out of their entire total budget towards artwork. And then, of course, the way we operate is a little bit different as well, and we kind of talked about this too. We do in-person sales and that kind of stuff as far as artwork are concerned. So, on top of our packages, people will invest additional money into additional artwork, albums, wall art, those kind of things. And it's spread out over the course of our relationship. So let's say you guys are talking about 12 months, maybe we go all the way out 24 months, somewhere in that range. So anywhere from 9 to 24 months, you have a relationship with this couple. They may have their initial investment fee, to reserve that date or something with us. And then beyond that, it's trickles in occasionally through different upgrades and stuff like that, but we never really look at or are cognizant of what
Right.
their overall total budget is. They pretty much let us know, that they want our services and they have X amount allocated or a general range, and that's what we tell them. We give them a general range of what they can most likely expect to spend, what our other typical customers or clients will typically spend over and above whatever our regular rate is. So that gives them an idea, but they never really disclose to us
Right.
what their total full
Same.
budget is.
So, I obviously don't want to interrupt anyone's privacy. So let's just say the last wedding that we did together, which took place outdoors. Do you have any idea of what that client spent for a wedding like that? Because that's kind of like our average looking wedding.
I'd
50
say,
to 60, wasn't it?
no, I think it was more than that. Maybe like
Was
70.
it?
I don't know. They were,
I would say
they were,
50
they
to
were
70,
a
I
coordination
guess.
client. So
Okay.
essentially, we always ask overall budget, but with coordination clients, we don't know where they end up at.
Right.
Because obviously, a lot of the times,
It's just like a
we'll end up going
guess.
over, but if it's a design client or a full planning and design client, then, well, full planning and design, we're managing the budget. So we're updating the budget constantly, so we're
Right.
fully aware of all those numbers, where coordination clients, they kind of manage the budgets, and that one was a coordination client, so I honestly don't know.
I
So-
would say between 50 and 70.
Because
I'm not
we
exactly
have
sure.
very similar clientele as far as our audience that we're hitting. So we sign up with the two of you. Do we just give you an entire budget or set up a bank account or something, and you guys take care of everything? Or do we still have to source all of our other vendors and all of that? Like with the full blown planning and design, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, so we start with budget specifically. You would tell us your overall budget, and some clients don't know what they want to spend. Because some clients say that they'll spend whatever it takes to get the wedding that they want. Which in that case, like you give us a range, and then in that case, it's like flexible, I guess.
So those are dream clients, right? The ones that say, we just
Yeah.
want to have an amazing wedding and just
Yeah.
make it happen, right?
Yeah, so But yeah, overall, we would just ask for a budget, and then we would use our like software and like just our past knowledge of weddings to
Kind of educate
them.
them about what's
Yeah,
realistic.
what's realistic, what you
For
can
what
be
they want.
spending. Yeah, for what they want. And you know, we wouldn't bring like a client like to you guys or to you for photography. We know how much your packages are beforehand. So when we bring a client to you, it's because we know that like they can spend, or they like your price fits their budget, because we've already done that
Correct.
work behind the scenes. So yeah, we kind of take your budget. And as far as managing it, we don't at this point charge anything to like your card. Like we don't do that right now.
Yeah, we just kind of say, hey,
Like clients will have the final say in
yeah,
like
we
their
schedule
payments.
the
Kinda
sales,
guiding
and
them.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, here, make this deposit. This is how you pay it, and then it's on them to make the deposit. If we notice they haven't, we'll follow up. But I don't know. At this point, I feel like we're not really comfortable with like keeping cards on
Yeah.
file and.
There are like some planners in different parts of the country that do that. They require their clients to have cards on file.
We would just
because-
wire you the funds or
Yeah.
give you a credit card
Yeah.
or something.
And there are
along those
some, I
lines.
mean, there are clients that are totally cool with that, and that's what they preferred their planner to do
Right.
anyways. But I don't think we have any clients right now that would want to be that hands off, because another part of being an ideal client is that they want to work with us. While they trust us fully, they still like enjoy doing like the planning stuff and kind of having opinions a little bit.
So we sign up with you. Most likely, we have a date and a venue already either booked or we're about to, or pretty much we have to, right? Because to make sure that the two of you have availability. What do you guys start working on first? What's most important in your eyes that you guide your clients to go after?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, sometimes we will help the clients find a venue. If they want help with that, we actually have a pretty extensive venue search process.
Yeah.
We have a pretty extensive venue search process that includes a matrix, so we'll kind of ask them what kind of venue they're looking for, guest count, style, different things like that, and we'll create a spreadsheet with all of the pricing for the different venues, their brochures, links to their website, things like that, so that they're able to choose which venues they want to tour. Then we'll go along with them on those tours, ask the appropriate questions, and then we'll pick a date that aligns with our schedule and their schedule and the venue schedule. Yeah, so sometimes we'll help with that. And then once the venue and date is secured, we like to call it like the big 3 or big 4. So we'll
I say
secure
5, but I think venues included in that. So
yeah, so photo and video, entertainment, and yeah, photo, video, entertainment is what we check off the list first, because that's what books up the fastest. After that, we secure hair and makeup, and I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Can I jump back real
Yeah.
quick? So you said that you'll go with them and go on a tour through the venue. So the two of you are in person, hands-on with this client throughout the entire process, or just for the venue, or
Yeah.
like how many times face-to-face are you actually going to be with that client?
Yeah, so for full planning and design clients, I don't know, we probably have like 20 meetings with them. I don't
Oh,
know.
wow.
We literally meet with every single.
20 meetings with your clients.
That's just a ballpark. I mean, some clients more, some clients
Holy
less,
shit.
but not every single meeting's in person. Typically, venue shopping is, and some clients don't do venue shopping. Like I have a client this weekend where she's like, or that I met with last week, and she's like, you know what, I can handle venue shopping on my own. I'll just touch base with you so you can send a contract after we find our venue, and that's totally fine too. But then we literally guide them throughout every single vendor. We schedule the calls. We're on every single call. Typically with photo, video, entertainment, those are virtual calls.
I was just going to say, because there's been times where I've literally put my cell phone on that light ring and been sitting here with the client, and you're just, on FaceTime in the background. So
I would love to bring clients here in person. I feel like all the clients we've booked, or that I booked with you, that client lived in Columbus, so sometimes
Right.
we live out of, out of town too. And then
that's a huge percentage for us.
Mm-hmm.
Say I live in Columbus, or say I live in Cincinnati, but I'm from here. Because we notice in Cuyahoga County, I think the statistics are somewhere around like 27% or somewhere in that range of people that get married here don't even live here. Can they go through this entire process with you virtually if needed, or?
absolutely.
yeah, I have a client right now who
There you go. You're
Can you hear me?
unmuted.
Okay.
You got
they
it.
live in North Carolina, actually, and they're a full planning client for me this August. And they're
Okay.
getting married in Canton. So, yeah, most of our meetings, if not all of them so far, have all been virtual with photographers, their videographer, their DJ. Yeah, they've all
Are
been
you
virtual.
doing extra legwork in that scenario because they're not here, so they have?
Yeah.
Do you
Not
guys have to
really.
do more and go out and handle more, or is it kind of the
No,
same?
because
thing?
it's
prefer it
still-
because then when they do come to town, we really maximize those couple
Yeah.
days, and we just knock so much out in like 2 days.
Yeah. I would say virtual, it's not any more work, no, because it's still the same thing as scheduling a time to meet.
Still
It's
time.
just
In fact, it
happens
might be
to
even
be
easier because now you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
drive time.
Yeah, and then it just happens we just would meet online instead of in
So
person.
how many so as you because it sounds just listening to your workload with just a couple, right? It sounds like you guys have a pretty it's not as far I feel like as far as what we do when we deal with our clients is not as intense as yours.
Nowhere near. as
Nowhere near it because literally we will meet once the consultation, maybe one, maybe two times between then and the last week of the wedding, and then one final meeting, and that's
Melinda does
Melinda
couple
who's
meetings
doing
with
it.
them
Yeah.
Yeah.
throughout the process.
But as
Yeah.
far as he and I are concerned, I make it a point where I meet with the client, when we do the initial signing, and I'll let them know, hey, look, we will have our little powwow.
Yeah.
And then it's literally the week of the wedding is when I do my sometimes second or third final consultation. And then that's
Figuring
it.
out names
Exactly.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Make sure I got all the phonetic pronunciations done and down. But outside of that, I mean, it's not. So I just want to know, and we have, right now I'm somewhere upwards of 30 weddings this year. He's somewhere in the 70s range. How many weddings do you guys do, and that gives you the ability or that allows you to be this in depth with your clients? Because that's a lot of work for just one client.
It's changed. This year all of us, me, Cole, and Megan, all capped ourselves at how many weddings we would take because last year was a little crazy. 3 schedules, we couldn't really help it. But yeah, this year I'm taking. I think right now I'm at 16 for the year, and at the beginning of booking 2022, I was only gonna take 20, but at this point, I think I'm good at 16.
Scale it back.
I might take one more if it's a coordination client, that's only a month or two out from their date. But as far as full planning
Are
clients,
you
and
guys
things go-
interested in expanding and bringing on more planners to accommodate the demand?
Every associate, which we also have an associate, Megan, who works full-time at the Chamber of Commerce, so she's not able to be here today, but she kind of works for us as a side hustle. So this year I have 12, Kate has 16, and then I think Megan has 5 to 10. And then for next year, I'll cap myself at 10. You'll probably do 15 again next year, and then Megan will probably do 10 max. But yeah, in terms of growing the team, everything's just kind of happened naturally. Kate was very natural, literally at her first wedding. After I was like, "You're going to become an associate," and it didn't happen that quickly. She went through.
I said that to him with DJing.
Yeah, I mean, you either in this industry
We
you
gotta
either
do
got
this.
it or you don't.
Doing
It's
it.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
And anyone could be trained if you have the right qualities that make you a good wedding vendor. You're flexible, you're a go-getter, you're a problem solver, you're friendly. I feel like if you have those qualities, then you can be trained to use the same, systems. But yeah, so Kate was pretty natural, and then Megan actually, we knew her she used to work at the DoubleTree in downtown Canton.
Okay.
So we had a good relationship with her there, and then she left to go work at the chamber, but still wanted, kind of the creative side of things. So she approached me, and I was like, yeah, this is a great fit. And she had worked for a planning company before when she lived in Florida, so really there wasn't much training there. Just kind of, I showed her how we do things, but so that was pretty easy. And then from there, we kind of require people to go through an internship, and then there's potential that will turn into a paid position. Yeah. But so far, Kate's the only intern that is
stuck
that's
around.
stuck.
Well, we have other ones too. One of our interns last summer, Brennan. Love Brennan. Shout out Brennan. I don't know if she'll ever hear this, but she's great, and we loved having her last year. And she's coming back as a day of assistant this year because she's finishing up school.
Next year.
Yeah, she graduates next year. So she's actually coming back, though, on our team as a day of assistant. So
Yeah, and I feel like if she was interested, I would definitely have her as an associate when she's graduated because, you know.
Brennan,
she's
this is your formal
Are
invitation.
you seeking out interns currently? Is that something that you're looking for? Are you guys kind of good where you're at, or?
So we currently have 2 for the summer, and I feel like that's
Real,
good.
real quick. Just so like you guys are like slowly moving away from the
Oh,
mic.
sorry.
Yeah, just try to stay fit.
I noticed
Okay,
how
got it,
far
got it,
we
got
are now compared to where we started.
It's the rolly chairs. It's the rolly chairs. I'm pushing myself.
Talking way down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting relaxed and comfortable is what it is. Everybody's
Okay,
just
okay.
kind of sitting back in their chair.
Yeah.
Back up on
Which
it.
is actually
We're getting
Got it.
comfortable now.
There we
Okay,
go.
got
All
it.
right, cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
two interns this summer, and that's kind of a good number for now. I think any more than that, it might get a little overwhelming because we do
Right.
have. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because right now our interns kind of just come in. What is
They
it?
hang out in Kate's
They hang out in
office.
my office because
My office isn't as fun.
Because you're the comedian doing the
I'm
puppet
the,
shows
I'm the
and
comedian.
all
I
that.
can talk. I can talk while I'm doing all my stuff. Like I
can't.
like
have
doing
ADD.
it.
Me either.
Get in the
I play
zone
like
and-
I play real upbeat music. She plays more instrumentals and classical, which I do like that sometimes.
listen
But
to
Do you do a
Mumford and
course
Sons.
or teach other individuals how to talk and work at the same time? Because
Can't do it.
well, it's funny because I can like start. I'll be doing an email and somebody asks me, and I can like shut off this and like come over here for a second, and then just come
Absolutely
right
not.
back to the
Very
So I'm good at that.
one-track
That's why they sit
minded.
sit
But
in my
that's
office.
what makes you a good planner. I mean, that's
Yeah.
an
There
attribute.
you go.
to
Right.
have, for
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I
so
multitask on wedding days, just not in the office.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
No,
but I always play. I play. Nicole calls it rap music. I wouldn't call it
Kate
rap
lives
music.
in a club at all times.
I do.
Is it just
I
like
do
Cardi
kind of.
B
Listen.
playing WAP and all that
honestly,
stuff?
Yo,
Cardi B
dude,
comes up on my playlist
That ass,
sometimes.
the wedding that we did in Louisville, I was like, she's a fucking ball of energy, man.
She
It is.
is.
It's not all the time.
I started getting tagged on Instagram of me DJing, but they're in the background with the phone set up, like
yeah.
It's a dance
dancing
party.
around.
That's our
Dude,
thing.
she has a dance. I just saw.
Oh,
a video,
you were in a
literally,
dance party too?
I was. Yeah, you recorded me, and we did a little dance party as I'm DJing. Like
Yeah, because you did DJ, right?
she came behind.
Yeah,
She came behind the booth, the table, and she's like, "Hey, DJ, okay, dance party." And she had the phone fucking set up on a chair, propped it up, and myself and like a few other vendors just had like a little 30-second dance party.
Yeah. It's fun.
When it comes to a wedding day, and I'm just curious about this because I think it's something I can relate to as well. But on a wedding day, do you guys feel like you strive or you do better in a high pressure situation or when the pressure's on? Do you feel like you kind of dial it back and feel like you're in the zone? You kind of feel like in your spot. Is that where you feel most natural? Is on a wedding day when all the pressure's on and all the moving parts are all going? Do you feel more comfortable then, or do you feel any kind of stress, or do you feel an uneasiness?
I feel like I literally am never stressed on.
I thrive
Not
on
that I'm-
wedding days.
yeah.
Thrive.
Not
on
that
wedding
I'm
days.
never stressed, but we've just gone through so much shit on some wedding days that like. Literally, I am just unflappable. Like
Yeah.
anything, a fire could start behind me. I'm like, well, that's happening. Let's figure out.
Let's talk about it.
do
Yes.
that.
Let's
Yes.
talk
So
about it.
legit. So it's so funny you said it because we actually shot a wedding where a fire did take place during the ceremony
Oh, my.
behind the couple.
Oh shit!
And
They got
it was
burning
during
love,
the
man.
ceremony.
Burning love. I was just
Burning
about
love.
to say that.
Streets have all kinds of open flames.
Ceremony. It was
Yeah.
the unity candles, and it was just funny that you said.
Oh my.
We didn't panic. We went and put that thing out. And went
Yeah.
back to work.
Yeah,
Shit.
shit happens.
It's
a
also
live
because on
production.
wedding days, that's our couples specifically are looking to us to. If they see a fire, they like look. They're like, oh, where's Nicole? Where's Kate?
Yeah.
So-
and as soon as they see us freak out, then they start to freak
Yeah.
out. But if we're calm, then everyone else kind of.
Yeah.
It's like you're like
Never let them see
flight
a sweat ever.
attendants.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just tuck your head,
The
put the
plane of
oxygen on your
love,
face,
we're-
you're good.
Because whenever shit happens to the
Piloting.
plane, the first person to look at in the plane is a flight attendant.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you better not be sweating over there.
Right.
The fuck, yeah, right? Like, what you praying for? So wait, so you said you've gone through some shit. So what's the craziest thing that you guys, each of you, that you
Oh,
guys have seen or gone through?
I was gonna say last July. I'm not gonna say the venue.
Not too many details, but
We won't drop any.
No,
names.
don't drop any
no
names.
No names.
But this
Yeah, just
wedding
talk about
is
it.
one of the reasons why we have like a blacklist of vendors that we don't want to work with. And if a client is working, so that's one of the things that's how we would say no to a client. And you actually did, or like
If they're
brought that up.
at a certain venue.
Yep. So if it's this specific vendor that we've worked in the past that we refuse to work with in the future. If that's part of the vendors you've already hired, I'm so sorry, but we can't work with you.
Oh shit.
Yes.
So
We've
it's
said
not
that
even a
before.
venue.
Can I
It's
Well,
just
no,
say
I
that's
actually-
fantastic. I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's
We
yeah.
do the same thing. There's venues that I will not work with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
venues
mean,
I
that's
think
just-
so
Really? We do
far
that?
isn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%
I
we
had
do
no
that.
idea.
Life is too short.
There's
We all
3 of
work-
them.
We all work way too hard and have built,
Yeah.
built our names and our reputations and our brands up to not have to work, to be able to choose ultimately.
Yeah.
Not only the clients that we work with as well. And I think you guys, it sounds like you're very similar to, and we've talked
Yeah,
about this
we
before previously,
pre-screen and
that we,
Yeah.
that we're basically vetting. It's a vetting process between all the clients and ourselves. But that goes as well for vendors, for other vendors as well. We don't have to subject ourselves. We made a point to not subject ourselves to a day where, look, we're only taking, similarly, we take 30 or 35 weddings a year. We want 30 amazing weddings.
Right.
If we want that vendor team, that vendor list to be spot on, if we see any kind of red flags, that's obviously we're just like, we're gonna have to talk to that couple, or look, we're just out. We can't
Yeah.
participate. I'm glad to hear that's something that's not just unique to ourselves or to a couple of the people that we know. It's good to hear that other well qualified people in the industry that are doing good things are thinking the same way, feeling the same way. That's
Yeah.
Sure. So wait.
We got to elaborate a
I
little
was gonna
bit
say
on
we can
this
tell you
whole
the
thing.
experience a
Wait,
little
I
bit
want
without
to hear
dropping
what the hell
names.
happened. So
Right.
what happened?
So it was a wedding of Nicole's last year. It was a
Absolutely beautiful.
beautiful
wedding.
venue, beautiful wedding.
You would never know what went down behind the scenes by looking at the pictures.
Ideal client, ideal wedding, ideal
Sweetest
venue,
family.
fantastic family. We still love them. Like to this day, it was nothing that they on their part, but I'll let you. It was your experience. I was there. I was assisting that day, and then I actually left early before all of the shit went down. So
Yeah.
I'll let you take over that part.
Okay, so I won't name the venue or the. We'll just say it was the caterer.
Yeah,
Not
don't
gonna
do
say
that
what
because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
not a name, just
No. We'll just say it was a caterer because you kind of have to know
Yeah.
what type of vendor it was for it to
Right.
make sense. So, anyways, they were kind of a pain to work with leading up to the wedding. I remember a couple weeks before the wedding, as I always do, I sent them the timeline, the seat assignments with every single place setting, breakdown, like this table has this many chicken, this many beef. Joe Smith is allergic to gluten,
Right.
Whatever, layout, all of the details that they could ever want and more. And you know how in-depth our timelines are. Like,
Sure.
once you get that, you're like, okay, I have no more questions.
There's a lot of formalities. There's so much stuff happening day of, and that's something I think that clients don't realize
Right.
when they get engaged and they're like, we're going to go to a wedding. The only thing that they know is their previous experiences of attending Susie and Joe's wedding, where they're just kind of on the outside watching it happen, but they don't realize that every single formality, every minute of that day is basically planned out to a T between
you
the
said, it's-
photographers, the DJs,
it's a
the
production.
introductions, the
It's a whole
caterer.
production, yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole-
and
the whole
everyone
thing.
has to work together for it
Everything is
to
coordinated.
Yeah.
Everything's coordinated.
for everything to go off without a hitch. So, anyways, a couple weeks before, this is kind of what started it. I sent all of those details, and I was on vacation in Jackson Hole because it was like my goal to send all of those details before I left for vacation. Yeah, and this vendor emailed me, and they're like, and she CC'd the bride and her mom, and goes, Nicole, I don't understand. Like, you are so unorganized. I've not gotten any details from you. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you not just receive my previous email that
I'd be sending screenshots.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Just emails.
Hashtag receipts.
Yep.
That's what that's
so
that's
I'm like,
that's when you
alright.
cuss them out professionally.
no. You say per my previous
Yeah,
email.
per my previous
Per my
email.
previous
In
email.
other words, bitch, read.
We call that is tact. That's tact. That's one of my favorite sayings of all time is tact is the ability to tell somebody to go to hell in such a way they look forward to the trip.
I love it. Yeah, I feel like we're both pretty good at that. Like,
Yeah.
telling someone that they're an asshole with a smile on their
Well,
face.
it's also
but-
pretty clear when we are right, and I don't mean to sound like we're right all the time, but like I know when we're right. You sent her stuff already, so
Yeah.
anyways.
Anyway, so we get to the wedding day, and I feel like some other stuff happened that week, not important. So we get to the wedding day, and we are about to send the beautiful bride down the aisle in her very expensive dress, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like literally wasn't on the radar or anything, just monsooned. Out of nowhere, the guests are already in their seats. We're literally minutes from starting the ceremony. So
Oh, this is an
look at
outdoor
the
wedding.
radar. Yeah. So I look at the radar and I look at the bride. I'm like, look, it looks like it's going to pass in like 10 minutes and then we should be in the clear. Do you, are you okay with waiting 10 minutes? What do you want to do? And she was like, yes, I'm getting married, you know, in that spot. I mean, the ceremony location was beautiful. One of the most beautiful ceremonies we've ever done. I'm like, okay, no worries. We'll hold it off, like out of our control. So, you know, we delayed by 10 minutes because of the weather. And so then finally we got her down the aisle. And of course it started raining again when she was walking down the aisle, but it was fine. And then as soon as she got to the altar, like the sun literally beamed down on them.
Yeah,
Like,
it did. It was gorgeous as soon as it started, but it was, I remember I sprinted with umbrellas. I've never run so fast in my entire life.
Yeah. I was like holding a clipboard over her head.
We looked a mess, but she looked great still, so it was fine. It was fine.
No one cares what we look
No,
like.
no,
at
no,
the end of the
absolutely
day.
not.
It's fine.
Absolutely not.
So anyways, so they get married, everything goes off without a hitch. And before this, we were communicating to the caterer, like, hey, just a heads up, the ceremony's going to start like, 15, 20 minutes late because of the weather. And they're like, yeah, of course, no big deal. The beef might be overcooked because it's in the slow cooker or whatever. And we're like, that's fine. It won't be the first time that someone's eaten overcooked beef at a wedding, like not the end of the world. So then the ceremony goes off without a hitch. And then I feel like the next part you were kind of on the front end of.
Yeah. Well, the next part was more just like afterward, and they were off doing pictures. Cocktail was happening. We were getting like detail photos in the reception in the ballroom. And then the one caterer came up to me, and she told me that she said if things were overcooked or if the food was bad, like it's our fault. And I was like, oh. No.
Wait, like.
Yeah, she
your
looked
fault.
at me, yes, and she said, "This is like we've done like what we need to do, and so if like whatever it was, if the beef is overcooked, like it's not our fault." And I was like,
Couldn't they just like pull it out and put it in a bowl?
I don't know, I don't know.
Like,
And that's why I was just like,
Remove it from the heat.
okay.
Yeah.
right.
I was like, okay,
Turn the oven off.
I was like, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Like we can't like backtrack on cooking the beef, I guess. So like, it's fine. Like it's what has to happen. But it was more just like them saying that, oh, what's this? None of this is our fault. And I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, they're
Kind
like,
of
well,
is,
you're
but
the
it's
one
fine.
that started the ceremony late.
Yeah.
So we're not going to follow by your rules now because you started the ceremony late.
Bitch,
And-
no, that was
it was
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It was
Yeah.
nature.
Can't
Nothing to do
control.
with
nature.
Yeah, can't control everything.
Yeah.
Quite everything. Yeah, and then it
they, like,
was.
squeezed the crap out of Kate's hand.
Then it was more. It was.
Be like,
It was very
physically.
like condescending and like shook my hand. Be like, by the way, kind of like. It almost felt like this sounds very dramatic, but I swear it actually happened this way. It was like asserting dominance in a way where it's like we know what we're doing and like you can't tell us what to do kind of thing is what it felt like. But yeah, they just grabbed my hand and they shook it
crumpled it.
and literally like crumpled it and they're like, it's I'm so and so. I'm trying like not to
Yeah.
Say
anything.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm so and so. It's just so you know. And I'm like,
And
I was
she
like,
goes, and I will never forget your
Yeah,
face
yeah.
or your name.
yeah. And I was like,
Shut the fuck
I was like,
Are you serious?
Meanwhile,
Was
Nicole
this person
and our
old in
assistant were
age?
back in the corner just like watching this happen. I'm like, thanks for
Yeah,
the
like,
help.
yeah.
No, I don't think I was there. I think
Well,
I
no,
was
I
like,
know our assistant. I know one of our
'cause the property
assistants was.
so big, like-
Well, because then you guys come up to me and you're like, you handled that well. And I was like, my hand's broken. But anyways, it was just very like unnecessary, intimidating. It was very.
It sounds like intimidating. It sounds like a
Yeah.
form of intimidation, professional intimidation. Basically,
Yeah.
like, look, I run this space, or this is my
Yeah.
space, or I'm so and so, and that stuff doesn't fly.
Hey,
No,
real life, though,
absolutely not.
Real life, when we're off air, we need to know who the fuck these people are.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah. We'll
dead
absolutely
ass.
explain. Yeah.
Because
But then it
for
just
me-
continued throughout the night. It was like more of that, and
They were
us, like,
resisting,
shutting
not
down the
working
bar
as a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
reason.
they
Like,
would shut down the
literally-
bar, and then she tried to hand. There's supposed to be a self-serve. What was it? Beer. Self-serve beer. People just like get the beer bottles with like a beer opener next to it. Like that was supposed to be a thing, I guess. And there wasn't a beer opener, so
To
guests
relieve the
were
bar.
to
And they
relieve
only
the
had
bar.
one
Yeah.
bartender for 250 people. They were contracted
Holy
for
shit.
4 bartenders, and the bartender didn't even know how to make their signature drink.
Yeah, which I will say that does happen sometimes, but like it's more of the inflexibility to not like learn it, like
See,
figure it out.
So
a
you
little
guys
bit.
said, fuck this. If someone's getting married there, we're not going there.
It's not the venue. It's
not the venue, it's
It's the
Oh,
caterer.
okay.
Because
So,
yeah,
so my belief is that everybody, so every wedding that happens, there's 2 very important individuals, all right, and that's not even the bride and groom. In regards to the wedding, it mainly is the wedding planners, which is you guys, and then us as the DJs, right? Because we are going to dictate
Can
how
make or break the day.
we can make or break the day. So whoever the fuck this
What
person
about
is,
what about the photographers? Then?
I mean.
You could take blurry pictures and shit.
But you know, whoever the fuck this person is like, yo, like, you don't need to be here. Like, motherfuckers can go and get a fucking Chipotle burrito with overcooked steak and be
Order
fine.
pizzas.
Yeah, order a bunch of pizzas and be fine.
Uber Eats.
You know, so, yeah, we need to know who the hell these
The setup was even strange. It's like it just felt very unorganized, and since they were difficult to communicate with in the first place, it was just kind of a rough,
Yeah,
a rough
and then they
day.
left at like 8
Well, and then
o'clock.
because it's
They
like
left.
they knew that things were going wrong and that like the family was upset and they were upset with the caterer
They
and
cussed out the
everything. They cussed
bride.
out the
Wait, the
manager
vendor
cussed
did?
out the bride.
Hold on a second.
Who the fuck
Yeah.
are these people?
Hold
got
up,
you.
hold
We'll
up,
talk
hold up,
later.
hold up. Go back this up. Tell me the story of how a caterer ends up
Cusses out the
cussing
fucking
out a
bride.
bride.
Well, so the bar closed for like the 15th time, and I kept trying to talk to them, and they literally just were not even communicating me. Because every single time that they would communicate with me, they'd be like, "Wow, the ceremony started late." I'm like, "It was a
They,
freaking
they
late."
couldn't
fuck
get
does
over
that have
that.
to
They
do
couldn't get over
anything,
that.
Yeah. And so then finally, the bride was like, "Nicole, just let me talk to them." I'm like, "Okay, maybe
hell
you'll
no.
help." Which normally we don't like our couples getting involved.
You
in
don't
this.
want
But we
them to
had
have to worry
tried so
about
many
anything.
times at that point to reason with them and say like you're wrong in this instance. Like we have a contract that shows this is what you're supposed to be doing and you're not doing it. So like you're wrong. But they weren't listening to us. So
Yeah. So I went back in the kitchen with the bride, and she's like, "Seriously, why is the bar closed? Like, I want to be dancing right now. I don't want to be back here talking to you." And
deal
they
with
just,
that
like, start
bullshit.
yelling at her like, "I feel attacked, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Listen, this sweet bride literally just wants to be enjoying the night with her guests. She does not want to be back here.
And her
long as
fucking
you. I
husband,
wanna be
like,
back
yes,
here.
goddamn.
yes.
Just open the bar for 20 more minutes when it's supposed to close, and then we'll be good." Like, literally just.
Why is it? Like, the only person that I feel like that should actually be concerned about, be strict and concerned about time is the videographer, photographer, and the photographer. Because they do have, it's like, all right.
They're out at 9,
Yeah,
or
at a
whatever.
certain time you're out, and then that's
or
understanding.
The sun goes down.
Or the sun goes down, you want to hit certain pictures and whatnot. But it's like, goddamn, a fucking cater. Come on,
Well,
man.
see, I'm gonna toot my own horn here a little bit because we don't have an hour limit on our days. We're a
No,
little bit different
he
than a lot
actually
of photographers
sews.
because
He
we
actually
actually like to
sews.
capture the entire day, and we leave that up to the couple. We come, at the beginning of the day when the day starts to make sure that we capture the beginning of the day,
Yeah.
and then we don't leave until after probably a half hour, an hour after the last events, so that we're able to capture everything that happens that day, and we'll coordinate with the couple, so that we would never ever couldn't even imagine walking up and be like, "Hey, it's 8 o'clock. We're supposed to bounce at 8 o'clock. You guys got 2 hours more of events left. We need to cut us a check."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, we could never even envision that. So
Right.
we never introduced that.
A lot of photography. I see that
I know,
a
which is
lot.
like,
It does happen, yeah.
Shameless,
A lot.
shameless little plug for crop photography here that we
'Cause-
don't do that. We offer unlimited wedding day coverage, meaning, like I said, we want to be there for the entire day. And the last thing we ever want our couple to have to worry about on that day is how long we're going to be there or whether or not we're going to be there for a specific event. That's never been a concern. We leave long after the last thing's done, and they're plenty good. They're having a good time. They're partying, dancing, whatever.
Right.
We've already gotten everything we possibly need to capture that story and retell that story visually, so it's never even an issue.
They so there's more times than not at a wedding. I try to push garter and bouquet toss. I try to figure out in advance what time the photographer's contracted till. And then I try to do the bouquet and garter maybe 15, 20 minutes before that time. That does a couple things. Number one, it ensures the photographer's not going to dip out on their client because that happens a lot. Like, as soon as dancing starts, they run around for 10 minutes and then they dip. But one of the things that happens is photographers will approach me. Hey, this client, whatever, food's coming out late or whatever, which is common, that shit happens. But I'm only contracted until X amount of time. When do you think that this formality is going to take place? Or they'll ask me, should I go up to the bride and groom? I'm supposed to be leaving in like 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, you do what you do. I'm not your company and you're not mine. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do or what not to do.
Like, I've already been working 16 hours at this point. Like, I don't want
Right.
to hear that your 8-hour contract's up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Amen. Like, that's why I stress that we've never done that from the very beginning when we started this. We never wanted to have to do that because how unnerving would that be? I can't picture that on a wedding day because you've got 50 million things going on already. It's one of the most anticipated days of your life. The idea is to just enjoy yourself and to put together a team that you trust. So you don't have to be
Right.
Hands-on with every little thing that happens. That's why they hire individuals like yourselves. That's why they hire individuals like yourselves, for DJ and entertainment, and that's why they hire us. Same reason. They want people, they put together a team they can trust that will take care of all those things, has the experience and knowledge and background to know how to handle those things without ever letting on that maybe something went wrong or went south. So that way the couple can just be present and just enjoy themselves and have a great, unbelievable, amazing day. When they go back and look at their experience, they remember having an amazing time, an amazing experience, whether that be with the coordinators or the event planners that they worked with, or the entertainment that they had. When they go back and look at the photos of their day, they actually enjoy looking at them because they had such a fun time, because they had such a great team together.
Dude,
By the way, real quick, I just got to shout out Brian Kropp. You guys can't see him. We're limited with 3 cameras, and we're in a tight space. Brian's over here. He'll come say what's up. Brian's running all of our video for us from the switchers, so he's the only one not at the
with
table.
us at Dakota and John's wedding. Yep.
Yeah.
On the balcony. That was so fun because
That was a blast.
The vendors kind of took over the balcony because all the guests were downstairs.
I was gonna mention that as well, because we did. We had an opportunity to work with you guys, and our experience was fantastic. We don't often work with a lot of planners. I think the market the people that we deal with, typically the budgeting. When people do full-on planning and full-on coordinating and stuff like that, I think a lot of the lower end don't accommodate that. It's not accommodated in their budgets for that. So as you get towards more higher end, you start working with more and more planners. And our experience, what we had working with you guys, was fantastic. And the reason I say that is because nobody ever got in anybody's way. You handled your role and what you were taking care of, which allowed us to handle our roles and what we do. And nobody ever tripped over each other. And no one needed to do this or do that or tell anybody to do this or that. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do and worked collaboratively together, which ultimately, the ultimate goal for all of us, and I think everybody's sitting in the room today, is the ultimate goal is to deliver the most amazing experience for the couples, for the clients. And if we can do that by working together, that's how we typically do that, by providing
Not
the best
cussing a bride
experience.
out.
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
Exactly. I can't even.
I
we'll
can't even
talk about that
fucking
after. I want to hear about all this
fathom
stuff.
it,
I want
That
to hear about
shit's
that after the
wild.
That's
bro.
unreal.
Being able to work with other vendors, with professional vendors that stay in their lane, do their role, and do a great job at what they do, which allows everyone else to very specifically do what they do, that's the best thing any of us could ask for, and those are the best experiences. I love working with people like that. Like, we really had a great experience when we worked with you guys, because that's exactly what we got. There was nobody stepping on anybody's toes. Everybody did what they were supposed to do, which allowed everyone to do a really great job at what they specifically do. And that's all anybody could ask for, and we get to have a dance party, too.
Let me ask you a quick question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Brian, quick question. Kate and I talk about this pretty frequently. So typically we start the day with styling details for the photographer. And then once we're done doing that, like details as in invitations and rings and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, we typically jet out to the venue.
Can you talk into your mic, Nicole?
Oh, sorry.
Look, I know it's weird because you're trying to look at him to talk, but
So there's some planners that actually have a designated staff member that stays in the bridal suite up until the time that they leave for the ceremony. And we do not do that because I feel like we would be stepping on toes, and, like normally bridal suites aren't that big. So I just wonder, do you think that would be helpful for us to do, or do you think it's fine kind of the way that we do it?
I think my wife would probably be the best one to give this answer. I wish she could give you this specific answer, because she typically goes with the brides and works in the bridal suite. I'm usually with the groom and the groomsmen go with and them. But ultimately, like you described, as far as the details, that's one of the main things that we do when my wife shows up, typically for hair and makeup. We don't show up when the girls are, before the makeup's typically done, or when they're in a top bun, no makeup. I mean, most girls don't really want that.
Right.
We jokingly tell all of our couples when we do our initial consultations, we tell them, hey, if you want, we'll come and wake you up out of bed. Again, we don't have an hour limit, so if you want us to come wake you up, we will.
Yeah.
Of course, no one's taking us up on that. But the idea of having the details, as you mentioned, my wife will typically do a lay flat, which has all the invitation and some specific details from the wedding, the rings, and those kind of things. Having those things coordinated and organized to eliminate her having to round those kind of things up, and then having everyone kind of step out, works really, really well, because again, it's one of those collaborative things where I don't think, from our standpoint, from my wife's standpoint, that she needs someone there to like be in the space with her. But having those little things prepped and having those things coordinated ahead of time and having them together makes it so much easier. So when she walks into the space, she can grab what she needs, do what she needs to do, get it done efficiently, and then come back and capture whether it be hair and makeup being finished, or just interactions in the room and that kind of stuff with the bridesmaids and those kind of things. And as you guys know, the bridal suites typically look like a bomb went off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Having those things kind of organized and having a nice place to do those works. I don't think having an additional person necessarily in the bridal suites is necessary. Again, like you said, they're usually smaller rooms. They're usually filled with people. There's usually stuff everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the only time I could really see it helpful is maybe we could help steam the dresses. But honestly, bridesmaids are typically kind of looking for something to do during that time anyway. So knock yourself out. Go steam-
Let me ask you this, Nicole. Brian was mentioning a lot. A lot of clients can't afford to get a planner, right? Or they're doing a smaller wedding or something along those lines. What kind of gold nuggets can you drop to people that are planning a wedding? What are some things that people that have upcoming weddings should be doing or shouldn't be doing from a planning standpoint? Like, what's the number one mistake that you see people are making when they're trying to plan out their wedding?
Absolutely. So the one non-coordinator related mistake that we hear a lot is not hiring a videographer. But then we strongly believe that every couple should have at least a month of coordinator. We don't use the term day of coordinator because if we were to just show up on the day of, it would kind of be walking into a wedding blind and
Correct. I agree.
all heck would break loose. But
I would say we don't even call it month of really anymore too much because we typically end up working with our couples closer to 2
60
months
days
out, closer to 2 months out, really. So just coordination in general, someone to bring the day together and be in charge of the point.
well, and
point
help
person.
finalize the details because that month to do before your wedding is some of the busiest times. Planning's
Chaos.
busy at the beginning, and then once we knock out all the vendors that we need to, then we like to call it the planning lull, where it feels like you're doing nothing, but really there isn't much that you can be doing once everything's booked. And then the couple months before, things pick up again, guests are texting you. So we like to take off the timeline and the vendor communication and figuring out their layout and helping tie up all those loose ends for them. So I like to say that the month of, it's a gift to the couple because we take things off their plate. And then on the day of, it's a gift to their family and friends because let's face it, the bride or groom isn't going to be running around making sure that everything's in place like it would be
Exactly.
their maid of honor or, their mom. So having us there on the day of allows not only the couple to fully enjoy the day, but those who they love so much to fully enjoy the day with them.
I've been to so many weddings where at the end of the night, we play the last song and shuttle buses come or whatever. People just kind of disperse out. And I see the bride and groom and the parents like packing shit up. And I think like, damn, that sucks. Like you should have got someone, you're half in the bag and now you have to work for the next hour, 2 hours trying to get all this stuff organized. And
Yeah, and those
I
are
don't feel
moments
bad.
that they'll never get back. Like the last song of the night, that's one of the most memorable
Yeah.
moments at a lot of wedding receptions if they still have a lot of people there, which with you guys they of course will. But
Thank you.
yeah.
It's always a good time.
What were you gonna add, Kate?
We're talking about tips. Give us a nugget, Kate.
Right.
I would say my biggest tip of wedding planning is that how much you spend on your wedding directly.
There you go.
Okay.
You're on. Sorry, we have
No,
to
it's
mute
fine, it's
that
fine.
microphone. It's only one that doesn't match.
No,
We're
it's fine,
broke.
it's
We
I'm
couldn't
the
buy 4 of these.
broke one
The
over
reason, why,
here.
the reason why you're muting is because whenever Nicole talks, it feeds into
Oh,
there.
okay,
So
okay.
it's gonna be
I was like, am I like
Right.
breathing? I thought it
Which
was
is fun
breathing
once you
weird or
project, but
something.
it's just that mic that will pick up your sound as well. So go ahead.
And sound
They're good.
echoey.
My biggest tip is that your budget and how much you're spending on your wedding directly correlates to your guest count. Because if the more people that you have, the more dinners, open bars, the more chairs, the more tables and linens and centerpieces and
Alcohol options.
Yes, it's everything you have to pay for. So that's my number one tip is that if you want to spend more on your flowers, but you have 350 guests, like you have to like lessen that a little bit if you want to keep the same budget. Something has to adjust. So
Being realistic.
that's my yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe tell your parents, your neighbors from 25 years ago don't
Yeah.
need to be a
Don't
guest.
need. Yeah.
So,
Don't need to go.
so that's I like that what you just said there because it's kind of like a segue. Well, not really, but I just saw that door and I'm walking through it. So I was looking at this article on bride.com.
Tell me it's about guest lists. I love.
So it was like talking about like how you know seat arrangements, right?
Oh, okay.
So like now when you obviously you guys are helping with seat arrangements and whatnot. So when it comes to like friends of the parents, like how do you arrange, like what's your idea, like your rule of thumb when it comes to, because I'm sure you probably have like a certain way that you do seating arrangements. as it relates to not only the head table, but then also as it relates to the DJ, because I think that's also important because you don't want to have the wrong people by the speakers. You know,
Don't want
you
grandma sitting
you
there.
have that 90-year-old grandpa that's sitting next to one of his subs and he's getting blown away,
Yeah.
shaking his bladder every time the music.
Melting their faces off.
Every time the beat drops, the dude got to go take a piss.
I don't know.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Since
feel
you
like I have a
personally,
favorite floor plan.
well,
that
we have
I-
favorite floor plans. I feel like, but as far as like where we put people, do you have an opinion? I haven't really helped too much with anything like that. I don't help. I don't know if you do, but I don't really help my couples seat people if they like ask for a suggestion. We usually suggest where family goes or like your super important people, but other than that, they kind of do it. But since you've made your own seating chart for your own wedding, I guess maybe that would be a good place to start. If
Yeah.
you've-
Yeah, so the floor plan that I did for my own wedding, you'll see come up time and time again if you pay close attention to our Instagram. So essentially, I'm all about a mix of round tables and rectangle tables. I just think that gives the space more interest than just a sea of round tables.
Agree.
So I like kind of framing the dance floor with the family tables. So like 2 8-foots with 16 people at each, flanking the dance floor this way, and then the head table would be the other way, and then DJ.
Making like a U shape around the dance floor, essentially.
And then it also makes for great photos because then the family members and the people that are most important to you are in the background of those photos instead of, your college friends that who knows if you'll be talking to in 10 years,
That are on Molly and
Right. So,
And I just say,
like,
hold on one second.
Yeah.
I just point out that those kind of paying attention to those kind of details and being cognizant of those kind of details when you're making those arrangements and those kind of setups is something you should definitely. For anybody that's listening, anybody's looking for a planner, those kind of details when it comes to the other vendors, we talk about collaboration and those kind of things. When you're paying attention and doing things, when the things that you're designing, the ideas and the concepts you have are based around not only what's best for the couple, but ultimately what will provide the best experience, whether it be the entertainers in the right space, the photographers are able to produce the most high quality photos because the setting is pretty, where you're paying attention to those kind of things. I can't state how important that is and how a lot of people don't pay any attention to that. They only take care of what's specifically important to their field or whatever they do in the industry, and they kind of, everyone else be damned, or they just don't pay attention to those kind of things. So just, pat yourself on the back a little bit. That's important. Those little details really help in the matter of when I'm trying to take photos and it's like I've got crap in the background that's not a beautiful setting. I have to try to work with that no matter what. We kind of do that all the time. But hearing that is great. So that's really, really important. It's glad to hear that you guys really pay attention to those kind of details.
So like, what do you prefer as like when you're talking to your clients and you're going over seating, what do you prefer that they do, sweetheart table or full head table? Does it matter?
I feel like it doesn't matter. If they're going to do a head table, please, for the love of God, do a two-sided head table.
Two-sided.
Yeah.
Like-
So there's people sitting on both sides. Still nobody sits in front of the bride and groom.
Talk
but
about
then,
that because okay.
so it doesn't look like the Last Supper.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, conversationally, their wedding party can only talk to the
Person
person
next to
here
them,
and
yeah,
here if they're sitting like the Last Supper. And I feel like the table just looks fuller when there's place settings on each side. So it's prettier and
And the reason I like it the most is because you can invite the wedding party's significant others or their plus ones. to sit down
Yes.
at the table, as long as that's fine with the bride and groom if they don't care if there's other people who are.
but then
celebrating
maybe
the
give
wedding.
them a color code to dress within so they're
but
not.
I know from
Yeah.
from my experience at your wedding, my boyfriend he's social, but I think he felt 10 times more comfortable being able to sit with me because he knew that he knew you, he didn't know anybody else there. So I think that was like a personal experience, a very good reason for why it should be a double-sided head table. Gives you more seats, gives you more social opportunities. and it
Leverage.
You don't have this random table of the wedding party's plus one sitting off in the corner who all feel awkward and don't know anybody. So.
We were talking about a couple podcasts ago. There was an officiant who, she wears white dresses to weddings
That's one of Kate's biggest
to
pet
marry
peeves
to
when
marry
vendors show up
people.
in it. Yeah.
You mentioned color coordination. Do you guys see that a lot?
See, the thing is color coordination Sorry.
You're
Color
good.
coordination
Yeah.
is good if you ask for it, but like if you didn't ask that officiant to wear white, don't.
No. Yeah.
Don't. I think the only reason I don't
still
know.
think-
That's
I
personally
just-
me. I'm very big on like bride wears white. I mean, if and
He
anybody
doesn't
else
like when someone shows up in a white shirt.
well,
Hey, true story. Just so you know, this to your point about as far as asking, we actually had a bride who asked every guest and every vendor to wear white.
yeah,
The entire party, the entire wedding,
yeah.
she wore a red wedding dress. And it was,
I mean, but she still stood out though.
But that's what I mean. She
it was
asked.
amazing.
She asked.
Yeah.
To your point, I'm just
Well,
illustrating.
and
your
it
point.
makes for
Yeah.
better photos. For my wedding, everyone wore black and white.
Yes.
And everyone listened except for my Aunt Maria. Sorry, Aunt Maria, if you're listening. She showed up in a tech. Yeah.
Aunt
but she
Maria
changed.
fucked it all up.
Jesus Christ, Aunt Maria.
It's fine. I'm not salty about it. But anyways. Yeah, no, it was just for the church, and then I think she got the memo and she changed for the reception, which is what I really cared about. But anyways, if you're having a two-sided head table with dates, then even if you don't ask everyone to color code, maybe just ask the dates to kind of wear something that complements, give them like a color scheme so that the wedding party is not in blush, and then all of a sudden someone's date is in neon green, and then the attention goes there.
Let me tell you this story. So I ended up hiring one of my past wedding clients. And after her wedding, she seen that I was looking for some help. And so she reached out to me, and I'm like, great. And so we were sitting in my office, and she's like, did you see any of my wedding pictures? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, my God, they're amazing, except my officiant wore white. She's like, and now that my wedding's been over for a while, she's like, I don't know if I should bring this up to her or address it. And I'm like, yeah, your wedding was a while ago, yada, yada, yada. But she's showing me these pictures, and clearly the woman was in a white dress, right up next to the bride and groom. So,
Was it a long dress? I gotta ask. Was it a long dress? Do you remember?
no, it was like a white skirt, white top,
okay,
white
okay.
blazer.
Was it a
If this one was in a
friend, or was
floor
it
length-
No,
hired-
this is a hired officiant, someone who does this professionally. So then she said, Ryan, this officiant actually does this all the time. Let me show you. So she Googled her and brought up Google Images, and she's wearing this white thing the whole time. And I'm like, maybe you should reach out to her, like, hey, I'm not going to, I'm not trying to bash you, email her, but, like, what do they call that? Upshowing or, yeah.
Upstage.
Upstage. She's like, my officiant like totally upstaged me at my wedding, and and I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know if that was something that you guys seen a lot
No,
at
I haven't
weddings
seen-
or.
No, people wearing white dresses kind of bothers me. I feel like that's a big.
I'm with you on
That's
that.
an
with you
issue
on
for me. And like Nicole said, even shirts. Like there was
Yeah, I'm not that far.
Was it well? It was different.
I wear a white
because-
button down to
Well, no.
90%
But I
of
mean,
the
but this
time.
was different
We
because
will no longer be recommending it.
this, yeah, right. But it was because these coordinators it's like they very much wanted to be the ones to like open the doors for the ceremony and stuff like that. So then it was more of that because then they opened the doors and they stood out where you could see them, and they were still wearing that white shirt, and I knew they were going to be doing that. So when I walked in and they were wearing white shirts, I was like, I least stopped in my tracks. I was like, they're about to be in the back of all those photos wearing white. So that's what I mean by
Right.
white shirts. Dress shirts, fine. Like it's fine.
Well, we have on jackets.
But I mean,
and
but
ties
still,
and-
yeah. It was just like, I don't know. That's just a
No, I
pain
feel it.
point for me. I don't like it.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I personally, I mean, I don't think anybody should wear anything remotely close to, even off-white or anything like that. Lead up to the bride. Now, it's a situation where she asked everybody to wear white because she was wearing red.
That's
She's
amazing.
She's still sticking out.
Yeah.
And that's what,
It was dope.
Dude,
I gotta tell you, it was
I'm sure it was. Like, literally, it is about the bride.
Do you have any
I'm sorry,
pictures
it's
of
not
that?
about the groom, I think.
Text me a couple of those. I'll see if we can get them up on the
Yeah,
screen.
like it's not even for me at that point. It's not even like weddings aren't even about the groom. Like
Well, you asked, and for your wedding, you asked people to wear like it's a black and white dress code. Most people went for black because they probably felt
Yeah,
weird
there was a
wearing
couple
white.
people wearing
Yeah.
white, and I honestly didn't care because I'm like, if you don't know that I'm the bride, you could get the hell out of here. I mean, clearly my dress was different than their white short dresses, but
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for my theme. Typically, I'm against the white. But
Yeah.
For You know, as long as you don't wear multicolored shirt like Anne Maria, then we're good.
And Rich, she does love you. Nicole does love you.
Right,
She's is happy you were there.
So, while they're pulling that up, I wanted to. So obviously, as planners, you guys see a lot on the wedding days. So, I had a wedding last year where the bride and groom.
Be careful how you talk about that.
No, I'm not gonna say the names. I'm saying they got lit. They were sauced. I mean, yeah, it started off. The groom was twerking the bride, and then at some point, the shirt came off. If you look at my stories, you probably saw my stories that I posted on my IG. But his shirt came off, and the tie was around the head.
The old rally tie.
I mean, it was
wedding
bad.
night.
Yeah, it was a banger. The wedding was a banger. But in a more serious note, though, there are some weddings where you do deal with that drunk guest, that drunk uncle, a drunk aunt, whatever it may be, a cousin, brother, whatever it may be. How do you guys handle that situation? Because a lot of times, for us, well, I won't speak for Ryan, but for me at least, I can tune it out for a certain period of time.
You guys have to be afraid of people spelling on your equipment, though.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Setting drinks on our speakers.
Yeah, it's terrifying because one bump and it's a wrap. Or I've had where people are dancing and they're like, "Here's my stuff," and they're dancing like this, and they got the drink in their hand. I'm like,
Or they come up to the booth with the drink in their hand and lean right over.
lean right over my stuff. So, like, how do you guys, on your end, how do you guys handle?
Or have you had to handle anything?
Have you?
I'm gonna start because it happened at my first wedding, but then I'm gonna let you take over because your story's definitely gonna overshadow mine. So let me say mine first. So my first wedding ever that I assisted Nicole at, I don't know that this guy was drunk per se, but I think he had it was a little bit into the reception, so I imagine that he had a couple. But anyways, he just was yelling at me because he didn't like where he was sitting, and he was like, "We're family, and we're sitting too far away." And I was like, but he was like getting mad at me, and he was cussing a little bit, and he was kind of like getting upset about it. And basically how I handle that is it's almost like a kill him with kindness moment where I'm like, I'm so sorry that is happening to you. I didn't make the seating chart. That's kind of what I said. I was like that, and it's more like I don't mean to sound like I don't know, like it's not my problem kind of thing, but at the same time I'm kind of like,
but it's not your problem.
But it's not. I'm so sorry that you were in that position. I didn't do it.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you feel that way. Yeah.
Ryan, do you want to hit the one on the phone? I don't know what channel it is. See if we could see that.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
That's
holy shit.
Yeah.
Is that the bride in the red?
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Oh wait, I want to see.
Oh, they can't.
Beautiful.
We'll give it to you in a second. Holy shit, dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah, super beautiful.
Oh my gosh, she is rocking that.
You can and just swipe. You can scroll to and there's another one.
Here, I'll scroll a
where
couple
is that?
pictures here. Let's see here.
I got your feet on her ass.
Here's the dress.
There's the dress. There's the full dress.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That's stunning.
Yeah, she was something
Wow.
else. So.
Did he know that she was wearing red?
No.
He didn't know. Holy shit.
Oh,
Oh,
Dude, that's dope.
Wow.
That's so dope.
Nobody knew what she was going to wear. Nobody knew what her intentions were.
Actually,
This is a little funny little side story. She actually decided, we didn't know this till that day. She didn't tell anybody. She actually didn't want to get dressed at the typical time that she would get dressed. She kind of waited and pushed it off. So she didn't get dressed until kind of late in the day, which was just kind of unbeknownst to everybody. So we kind of had to work around that. And again, it's one of those situations you just kind of make it work. But nobody knew. Nobody had any clue. She even she kept it from her family and everything too, which was something else.
That's dope.
I'm gonna switch
I feel like
back
you kind of
around.
have to, because your family would have so many opinions that if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to do something that bold,
Yeah.
it's just
It
best
turned
to
out
surprise
so
them.
good. Everybody was in white. Everybody looked great. The entire bridal party, the wedding party, everybody that was there, everybody looked fantastic. I mean, it really did. She really jumped when she came out. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Holy
That's
cow.
crazy.
Jaw
So
drop.
shout out to Sheree and Ricky. So I don't know if they'll see this or hear this too, but we had a great time.
Yeah. Dude, I did a wedding last year and the bride was in black. I was like, whoa.
I did.
yeah.
I did one last year too, where the bride wore black.
Yeah, I think it was a Halloween wedding. It was because Halloween was on a Saturday last year. I believe. Yeah. It was a Halloween wedding. And she wore all
Yeah,
black.
we had an awesome Halloween
Yeah.
wedding too. There's skulls on the table with
I did a
flowers
party.
coming out of 'em.
Same.
Yeah.
I did a party for one of my wedding clients' parents. They threw a party, and they booked me like 3 years in advance. It was for
Wow.
the bride's mom's 50th birthday, because I guess her birthday was like Halloween weekend or whatever. So they threw a party. It was cool. No stress
dress
and
up, or
pressure
did
of.
you
I
wear-
did. I did. I wore my wedding client. She actually came in and did all my makeup and stuff.
Oh.
So she painted my face. I forget the character's name. I'll see if I can bring it up. DJ.
Wait, tell us about your drunk story.
Yeah.
While
Yeah, so I did a wedding at Magnolia Hill Farm last fall. And Magnolia Hill Farm is an absolutely beautiful venue. It's kind of outside of Columbus. It's in Centerburg, Ohio, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, a lot of backcountry roads, but the venue's absolutely beautiful, one of our favorites. And so the parents at the end of the night were with their son, and we were all, because they had a U-Haul, because they had so much stuff that they provided themselves. So we were kind of working together to load the U-Haul. And then the parents left, and I was still there wrapping things up. And then all of a sudden, I go to get in my car, and my back door is ajar. And I was like, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, I see a head in the back seat of my car. And so I like ran to the venue owner, Cody, and I was like, Cody, I think there's someone in the back seat of my car. So he comes out with me, and he like opens the door, and he's like, hey man, what's going on? And he was like, nothing, I'm just sleeping in my mom's car. And he was like, this is not your mom's car, man. Your mom left. Which, why did the parents leave without their very inebriated son was beyond me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was like, oh man, just let me sleep it off. And he's like, no, like you gotta go. Like you, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. So then he like stumbled out of the car, and then he started stumbling towards the street, and it was literally like
You're out
dark
of the middle of nowhere, yeah.
country roads,
Yeah.
no lights anywhere. I'm like, this dude's gonna get hit by a car. But
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want to stop him because you don't really feel comfortable enough to, you know, whatever.
That's when you get like, God.
Can you bring up my phone real quick? I just want to show Nicole's IG here.
Yeah, so then finally, I forget what happened, but he was like walking towards the road, and then he started running towards my car, and I was like, nope, I'm out. So I literally hopped in my car, sped off, and I was like, sorry, Cody, this is your problem now. I am out of here. And so then someone ended up. But the good thing was it was an hour and a half drive home, and typically anything over an hour and a half will like stay for accommodations, but at
Yeah,
that
that's fine.
venue, it's kind of 45 minutes away from accommodations, and it's like, okay, I might as well just drive the extra 45 minutes home, which an hour and a half is a long drive. So the upside is, you know, my adrenaline was pumping, so I was awake for that drive home, which otherwise I probably would have been pretty sleepy for. So.
I have.
Sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah.
You can pull that up and have her kind of talking about
Yeah, I just want
Well, I was
to
gonna
pull
say
up
one
your
last thing
IG
about the
here.
drunk guest thing before we move on from it.
Yeah,
Are we done
because
with
we're
that?
yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I
I'm
was gonna
super
say.
ADD. I'm all
No,
over
it's fine.
the place.
The only thing I was gonna add is that as a drunk, just kind of like a PSA for guests at weddings, is like we want you to have fun. We want you to have the best time at the open bar. They're paying for an open bar. I want you to use it.
Get lit.
But when it comes time for that to be over, you have to accept that it's over, because we
Yeah.
did have, like, I feel like I've had weddings before where we have to tell people, like, bars closed, and then they just went and got a whole case of White Claws and shoved it in their suit jacket, and I'm like, you can't have that. Like, we have to be done. And then they yell at you, and then it's like, but so.
Not even that though, but I think also you bring that up.
Yeah.
I feel like also guests have to understand that during intros and what else, like speeches,
Dinner service.
like speeches, like the bar is going to be closed
Yeah.
for those formalities.
But just
Everyone's
accept
so
it.
shocked.
Accept
Everybody's
it.
upset about it. Yeah, just accept
Standing
it.
next to the bartender, like just staring at them, waiting for the bar to open back up is not going to get you a drink any quicker.
Any faster. Yeah.
Just go
yeah.
sit
Just
down,
like
enjoy.
watching
Like
the fucking-
we'll get you the opportunity to get some alcohol in your system. Just
Yeah.
like give it a
I
second.
want to elaborate
Anyways,
a little bit
yeah.
on that.
A watched pot never boils.
Yeah,
I kind of have observed many of times the story kind of goes the same. So what happens is, for example, you go to the Ohio State University, right? Now it's your wedding, let's say 10 years later. And so you hit up all your sorority sisters and all of your college friends, and this is the first time you guys have came together since you were in college. Automatically, everybody thinks, what did we do last time we were together? Oh my God, we partied and got wild and this and that. So everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to party how I did when I was in college. They forget about the fact that they've aged 10, 15 years, however long. So now everyone's around their frat brothers and this and that.
Yeah, right. And they're lightweights now. Yeah.
They think that they can drink how they used to in college, and they do that, and it fails because
miserably
because they can't drink how they could when they were 20 years old. These are 40-year-old men now, you know, and or 30s or however old. Yeah. Well, I see how that unfolds, you know, and then there's groomsmen that are being carried in, firemen carried into introductions because this guy was on the party bus out taking pictures, bonging beers, and doing God knows what else in the party bus, and it turns to a wreck.
What about? Okay, so how do you guys mitigate? I don't want to say control, but how do you guys mitigate the bride and groom prior to the reception? Because I've had situation before where they wouldn't, like, you would look at them and like, yo, this motherfucker's not gonna make it, and you'd be surprised if they make it through intros. So like, what do you guys do?
Typically, that doesn't happen.
That doesn't usually happen, and
Really?
I guess my stance on it is they know their role the day of. At least you got to get to the reception. Like, everybody knows that. Typically, I would say that rehearsal, like, have fun, but not too much fun. Like, it's kind of a joke, but at the same time, like, you got to be up for an important thing tomorrow. So the night before and also, like, the morning of, I feel like they typically, I don't know, I haven't had any instances where it's been a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really think, I see it as, like, you're all adults, and I don't need to, like, micromanage your pre-gaming the ceremony, so I don't make me feel like I have to micromanage your pre-game. So,
And I feel like a lot of our clients too are in their late 20s, 30s, like they're kind of past that point. I mean, they party when it comes time for the reception, but they're just mature enough to know how to.
I want to talk about
be
something
surprised.
that I'm looking at
You'd
on
be
your
surprised.
Instagram. Brian, on the count of 3, if you can cut to this, okay? 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Here's a TikTok of you guys dancing.
Oh, God.
Sure.
You guys are up in the corner. I've got you in a picture. I've got you in a
Here you
picture,
are.
picture so everybody can see you too.
Oh, yeah.
this is one of our dance parties. Show a better one. Show a better dance party.
Hey.
I like our one
Hey.
when we were hiring last year. That one was fun.
Oh,
So
yeah, we have cute ones,
this is Nicole's Instagram. If anyone wants to check them out and check out what they do, I'm just gonna leave that up there. Take a screenshot of that. You guys do a lot of beautiful weddings. First of all, I'm envious of your Instagramming skills. I know that you guys are like super good at social media. I'm terrible at it. But yeah, everything's super clean and just looks so good.
I really wish that there was a method to our madness. Well, there is. I'm a psychopath about my feed being cohesive. Like, I think,
Everything's crisp and white.
yeah, I think that's important. But in terms of, a lot of people have like planning softwares. I just kind of post on a whim when I'm watching TV. And
It's like randomly
it
we'll
works
text
for
each
us.
other. Like, I'll screenshot my feed and I'll say, what should I post next? And then she does the same thing. And we're kind of like, oh, post this wedding or post this shoot or post something with more white in it or post something with like people in it. And that's kind of how we do it. So
I'm gonna send you
not
this
specific.
video. This is our dance party that we had.
ours.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one that they did at my
I
wedding
can,
is on here or not.
I want to say if you look on our saved stories, there's a dance party highlight reel on Nicole's Instagram.
Right.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I had that as a draft for a while, but I don't think I ever posted it. It was, I don't know, I almost felt
dance
weird posting it
parties.
because, so it's not typical that we are behind the DJ booth and,
Yeah.
so I don't know, I didn't want to like give people the wrong idea, but really during open dancing, there's nothing for us to do
Right.
anyways until the night wraps up and then we're packing up.
Right.
So that was fun though.
Yeah, we're just watching dance parties of you guys in the
Yeah,
office.
I'm about to send. I'm sending this to you right now, so you got it.
Wait, I don't have our old one.
Huh? You don't?
No, wait, let me see. I'm
I,
gonna go see
it was
if I
on
have
my
it.
it was on my Instagram.
Watching your post yoga dance party right now.
Oh God.
This
have a lot of
person in the blue, who's this? Hold on.
I don't remember who that was.
It just went away.
Oh, you can go back.
This chick in the blue is
Kelly
like,
Roberts.
Oh, Kelly.
Also
she's
involved.
she's
gosh,
so
I
happy
forgot
right
we
now.
put all those
Look at
ones
her.
on there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's so
You
good.
want airdrop?
Yeah, you want to airdrop me something? Go ahead.
I feel like that's become kind of our
Yeah, we got to do one
That's our
today.
thing. We should do one today.
Oh man, that'll be perfect. Yeah,
do a dance
definitely
party
gotta do
today.
one of that. Did you get it? I just sent you one.
That's how we kind of like to end a lot of things. Like we'll usually like at the end of a wedding before all the vendors leave. Like that's our wrap where it's like we had a great day and it was really fun. And or I'll randomly do it in the middle of a reception and be like, hey, I know you're working or something, but turn around and get in the dance party.
Literally, she came by. She's like, hey, DJ, okay, come on, we got a dance party. I'm like,
I think you looked at me like, what?
yeah. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, all right, cool.
I was
I
just
talked to you like twice
I was
at that
just
point.
informed from someone who's listening that you have to come much closer to your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
And because we're just getting a lot of echo off of.
Do we have people listening? That's fun.
Hi,
Yeah.
listeners.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions for us?
Here,
Here's
we go.
here's our dance party.
Can
that
you
we
cut
had.
back to my phone real quick here?
Yes.
Wait, we
Hopefully you sent me the right video. Oh.
Hopefully.
I will say, I know for. I know my
like
wife's
one
been
of us
listening.
doing
So.
that.
I can
Mr.
pull it up.
Outside.
Bring it
Oh,
up on
yeah,
your
when I
phone. I can
fell.
plug it in.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Wait, who is that guy that was with you, Ryan, at Sarah and Kevin's wedding?
Austin.
Austin.
Austin, yeah.
Shout out Austin. I'm gonna see him next week. Actually, we're doing a wedding next week.
Yeah?
Are you?
Yeah, he and I we're doing one in somewhere far. I don't remember where the hell's that.
Is he a DJ or is he
No,
an assistant?
he
or-
runs photo booth. He has
Oh,
photo
that's
booth
right.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know our dance parties, we have like my first wedding ever, that was like a big thing, and she was like, we have to do a dance party together, the bride. And she like came outside, she saw that we were doing it, she's like, don't do it without me. So she came out and got in the dance party. It's like it's really fun. So
You know what I
Yeah.
enjoy about that though. I mean, so it's like for me, I have like my stamp, right? It's I do this thing. You've seen it. I do this thing before every wedding, before we walk into the reception, before I get you in the reception. We get everybody fucking amped, getting juiced, ready to rock and roll. And that's like my stamp. It's become our stamp as well. But now I see like that's your thing. Like you like to do the dance parties. I think that's dope. You know, I think
Got to
that.
do something.
Yeah.
I'm big with the champagne squirt gun.
Oh shit.
yeah.
That's my
Do the
thing.
champagne squirt gun too, or
I
that's
haven't
Ryan
done-
thing?
That's a him. But when he put me on,
We're gonna get you one.
Yeah, I
I'm
need
gonna
one of
order
them
you
shits.
one.
But you know what though? Here's the thing. You don't drink. I do. So it might not be.
I tried to do it at my birthday party and I failed miserably. Next time.
Really?
No, you guys did it, right?
No, I shut my mouth like as you were spraying me, and you're like, Nicole, what the hell are you doing?
she went up.
Hey, you were getting down with it.
I did it. I was
Like
good.
95 times.
I did.
Right.
I nailed it. I was really excited. I was.
Wait. So is it only champagne? Like I
I
can't.
mean, you
sure
could
you
put
could put-
anything in there. It
put
has to
some
be
Ciroc.
carbonated.
Oh damn.
Has to be
I would
carbonated.
totally
Ciroc.
put
Oh
some
my
Ciroc
God, I
in
would be
that
dead
motherfucker.
in 5 minutes.
Man,
Right.
bruh, I'll put some Ciroc in that.
You'd
Yeah,
be in
here's
it.
our
Ooh,
dance
I'll put
party
like
with,
Ciroc in like a carbonated drink.
Yeah, you could do that
It's on stories though. Yeah.
as long as it's carbonated. Do you have that, Nicole?
Yeah, I just sent it
I'm
to you.
totally doing that.
Oh,
shit.
you sent it to me. Okay.
That would be phenomenal.
Let me bring it up.
That would be absolutely.
I got it. Here we go. Let me plug in the phone. Phone is plugged in.
You gotta put the sound on. Kate
I
falling.
don't know
is the
if we
best
can
part.
bring.
So watch.
Hold on. Let me see if
watch
I can
Kate.
bring the sound up on this. I don't know if this will play the sound. We'll try it, but go ahead. Bring it up. Here we go. There I am DJing. I remember it got really cold that night. I had to put on a sweater. I was freezing. Hold on. Here we go.
You were just out of the hospital too. I'm like, if this is what this guy does out of the hospital, then
I was
Can't
I was
imagine.
right out of the ICU. I was like 3 days out of the ICU. Man, that was rough. All right, we can cut out of that. I'm gonna unplug.
No, this is dope. This is
Sweet.
dope. This is
This
dope.
was awesome. I
This was
appreciate
awesome,
you
yes.
guys coming out.
So real
Of
quick,
course.
how and where can they find you on social medias?
Nicola's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Sirpilla Soirees. Mine is at Sirpilla Soirees _Kate. Megan's not here, but it's the same thing _Megan. Yeah, we post a lot on there.
Cool.
Website is just.
I follow you guys, so they can also find you through my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram.
Absolutely guarantee we'll post it about being here.
Can we take a picture real quick?
Absolutely.
Here,
Absolutely.
we'll take
gotta-
selfie.
you
Brian,
gotta
can you get
take-
in this?
Brian, come hop in.
All right, let's get everyone in here. We got. Oh, we're gonna need you.
Like right.
There you go.
Shit.
Maybe. We need you in next to Nicole, Brian.
going, keep
You
going,
got to get
Brian.
in a lot more. There you go. Don't be scared. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
We won't tell Simon.
Awesome.
Okay, never mind. All right, so it's not weird. Yeah, say it
Yeah,
again.
say that again.
Because you're muted.
So just kidding, I was muted that whole time. Sirpilla Soirees on Instagram, and then Sirpilla Soirees _ Kate. Do I need to spell it? Are you guys gonna post it?
They'll repost.
Just
I'll
repost
put
something.
it in the
Yeah.
description on
Okay,
the YouTube
okay, yeah.
on the YouTube podcast
Yeah, but
thing.
Nicole's is Sirpilla Soirees, mine's Sirpilla Soirees _ Kate, and then Megan, like I said, who's not here, is Sirpilla Soirees _ Megan.
What's your
so-
website?
SirpillaSoirees.com.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yep.
Listen to y'all in sync and shit.
And we're updating our website slowly but surely.
Yeah, we need to.
Story of my life.
And I'm like,
Slowly
an
but surely,
ongoing
we're
battle.
working
It's
on
like
it.
checking
yeah.
emails.
Yeah.
Well, we tackled our new pricing guide, and that was a big.
Yeah.
Always something.
Yeah.
For
It's
me,
just a
not even about
refresh.
building
It's
it,
not,
about but more for me is just about the payments. I gotta pay for this shit to get done. That's
Oh, I
just
know.
a pain in the
It sucks,
ass.
yeah.
Man, this motherfucker
Yeah, I
be
feel
calling me.
like we just do it all of our, because we're good at it. It's just finding the
Just
time
tedious.
to do it.
Yeah. Just takes a while. But yeah.
yeah.
Well, hey, this is awesome.
This was
Oh,
fun.
Brian, where can we find you at, Brian?
You can find me and my wife at cropphotography.com. It's KROPP photography.com. What's O smacking his face for?
I don't know.
I'm childish. Don't. I'm just childish. I heard.
OPP. I know.
Childish.
So you can find us at
I'll say it after.
I already know what it
cropphotography.com.
is.
You can find us on Instagram at crop_photography. You can also find us on Facebook at crop photography. Hit us up. Check us out. We're actually booked completely full for this year, so we're unavailable for 22. Yeah.
Ooh, good
Which
stuff.
is great, yeah. And then next year, hit us up if you're getting married in 23. Reach out. Now's better than later because
Yep.
we're booking up pretty quick. So reach out. Cropphotography.com. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You can find me at Ohio DJ Pros on the gram or our website. And that's it. Oh,
So
Struggling.
I'm trying not to laugh because I'm so stupid. I'm so childish. All right. You can find me. You can find me at DJ_OK_ on Instagram.
all right, guys. Thanks for checking everything out. We'll be back next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Who knows who we'll have on, but someone will be here.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.